The Cats are first out onto the SCG tonight. Both sides are as selected. Quentin Narkle is the medical sub for the Cats, and Angus Sheldrick is that for the Swans. Thanks to Sportsbet. Gamble responsibly. 1-800-858-858. The warm-up's about to begin for Ream. Install the Ream, Australia's favourite hot water. In Pakistan, 2 for 142. 209 runs required for the home side, 8 wickets required for Australia. That's in the second session of play. And Hutto, do you want to run us through the changes for the remainder of the round, and then we will delve into the preview and set you up. The Swans banner, home is where the heart is. We love playing here. The red and white unite tonight. Let's hear it. Cheer and cheer. It's June when last footy was played on this ground. That's when the evacuation of Sydney took place from an AFL perspective.
Well, I'll come back if we get time to the Saturday games, and obviously we don't know the situation with the West Coast Eagles. They play North Melbourne, and the Kangaroos have added Aidan Bonner, Paul Curtis, who's going to make his debut, Kyron Hayden, Jared Pollock and Josh Walker. So their final team hasn't been announced either at this stage, because they're playing in the same match as the West Coast Eagles. So Mackay and Stevenson are the only two that are out at this stage. So they get the luxury of a little bit more time. The significant outs, the big story from Sunday, as we alluded to before, is Richmond. Thompson, Dow, Camden McIntosh and Matthew Parker are in. Out, Jake Arts omitted. Dustin Martin for personal reasons. And Dion Prestia and Jack Revolt injured. So they are three massive outs, really, as far as the Tigers are concerned. Nick Haynes and Jesse Hogan strengthen the Giants team. Jacob Hopper has been managed. Lockie Keefe has been omitted, and Matt DeBoer also admitted at the moment for the Tigers and the Giants. Jared, who you go?
I think the Giants are now good things. They just look really good. They've lost Hopper, as you said, but they were stiffed up to lose last week. Look really good.
And the other game on Sunday night, is Fremantle and St Kilda. James A, Sean Darcy and Joel Hamling coming in as the Swans, with Dane Rampy in front, leads his team out onto the ground here. Bit of fireworks. They've had 9 months or so saved up of fireworks, and they can unleash a few of them out there tonight as the Swans hit the SCG. Brennan Cox is part of the health and safety protocol. Liam Henry omitted. David Mundy, health and safety protocol. And Josh Tracy has been omitted from
changes.
Fremantle lineup. Darragh Joyce and Jared Leanett come into the St Kilda team for Dougal Howard, Dean Kent and Mitch Owens, who have been omitted. So what about the Freo and the Saints? Jared, you saw Fremantle firsthand last week.
Well, Fremantle much more impressive than St Kilda, but I'm really surprised at those omissions. Clearly, Brennan Cox is a player that they'd love to have him, but he can't be there. But Tracy was, it was round one. I reckon it's too early to be dropping blokes after a round one effort. He wasn't lethargic or anything, just didn't fall his way. But nevertheless, I'll be going for the home side there. The Saints need to find something. If they could go to 50% one-on-one, they'd be thrilled.
Quick thoughts on Saturday. Collingwood, impressive first up. The Adelaide Crows, impressive to a degree, but fell short after coming back in the second half.
Well, the Crows played about 45 minutes. They played 46 good minutes. They would have won the game. They didn't. And they threw away, a 15-point lead with about 10 minutes of play remaining. It's quite extraordinary. Fremantle really impressive. Then they fell away badly. They get their big ruckman back in, no five. You'd still go with Fremantle, but that's a toss of the coin as well.
Essendon and Brisbane. Can the Bombers bounce?
Sorry, Collingwood.
Yeah, Collingwood. Yeah. Can they bounce back to actually win Essendon at home against Brisbane? Or do you think the Lions will show their superiority?
Well, they were pretty disappointing last week, the Lions. So it's hard to see them losing, but they'd want to play better than last week.
Port were also disappointing last week and actually lost. They play Hawthorn. Probably a softer landing for them potentially.
Yeah, but once again, they've got some big outs, and Hawthorn, they get some ins. They probably lose, but they'll be competitive.
In the end, it could have been worse for Port, couldn't it, in terms of the injuries than what it turned out to be. The Suns were good, but they'll be tested against Melbourne significantly.
Well, it's all about how competitive they are. I think that's they get a competitive loss, they'll be thrilled. They get blown off the park. Then we start to question last week's form against a really depleted West Coast.
All right, they're the games to look forward to this weekend.
The Hyundai Staria Load is the van that is big on safety and big on tech. It's the only commercial van to receive 5-star rating and platinum awards for safety from ANCAP. And now it's yours. From 47,990 drive away. Take a tech drive today. Let's go into the garage for our match preview thanks to Autobarn. Autobarn has all your top automotive gear at low prices. Jared Healy, give us a few thoughts and we'll bounce them around.
Well, I'm thrilled that Geelong have changed their style. I'll be interested to see just how much it continues to play that territory game where they're just basically going forward hard, particularly out of the middle of the ground and getting it into Tom Hawkins and Cameron if he's there, which we believe he will be. I'll be interested to see how slow they go when the Swans push up, because ultimately they weren't put under too much defensive pressure last week at the MCG. So they're a watch in case, but quite clearly there's been a big change of directive. Kick it long, get some territory, get it in quickly. Let's work on our strengths. Let's not worry too much about the weaknesses of shoring up the back line in case we turn it over. And Footy and Geelong, I think, are much better forward. We know a lot about Sydney. They're a rejuvenated side. They play a really good brand of football. They're fast pinpoint passes. They're good out of the centre of the ground. They've got a dangerous forward line, although it's probably a little bit inexperienced at the present time, and Luke Parker's had to bail out the ship a number of times there. I think the one thing we need to keep in mind with Sydney, as much as they've been excited and, you know, they played unbelievably good footy for a long period last year, is that they've got 11 kids or players 23 years of age or under, and there's only 2 that are 23. So they've got a vast majority of their squad are in their first, second, third or fourth year. So they're kids. They shouldn't be tired at any stage in this early part of the season, but they have taken all before them. So this is going to be a real test. Geelong have got a couple of young blokes in, but it's a more experienced player. And they've got a couple of serious players up in that forward line. So we've got one bloke who's played one game at fullback in Paddy McCartan up against one of the all-time great full forwards. And, you know, that battle may decide it. At the other end of the ground, you've got blitz halves against Buddy. That may decide it. Or more likely, it'll be decided in the middle. And in some ways, I reckon, Jared, the Swans bat deeper. You've got Hickey versus Stanley in the rucks. Then it's Mills, Florent, Kennedy, Heaney, Stevens, Parker, Rowbottom, Warner and Sheldrick off the bench if he wants to that can roll through the middle. And for Geelong, you've got Stanley, Dangerfield, Guthrie. You've got Selwood off a half-forward flank. And that may be the matchup. 2 old blokes, Selwood versus Kennedy across the half-back line. I think that would be interesting. Parford was excellent. You've got Holmes coming through. But they don't bat quite as deeply in that middle. I mean, they have wings that stay on the wing, whereas the Swans have wings like Stevens, who they've promised will play midfield. So, you know, maybe they've got 8 cylinders that they can rely on there, where Geelong have only got 6. But when one of them is Paddy Dangerfield and he's in the form that he showed last week, then that equates to a couple of extra cylinders.
It does. The warm-up's happening for Ream. Ask your plumber to install a Ream steady, hot and strong. And the AFL Nation team will be calling every game this weekend, and you can watch every game as well. That's on KO Sports. Your team, every game, every round on KO Sports.
I tell you what, when Jared went and spoke so brilliantly at the chairman's dinner tonight, he looked resplendent in Ringers Western clothing. Looks great in the city, and it toughs it out on the land. So he was able to come from the paddocks, head into Bronte and have a coffee this morning, and then just change up into the different Ringers outfit and look magnificent.
They did comment about the Ringers outfit, actually. They said, we've never seen you looking so resplendent.
Nice.
Lions got Imam ul Haq, so that's 3 down now. The breakthrough straight after lunch. Bubba Azam and Fawad Alam out there, 3 for 146. Nathan Lyons got 2. Ollie Florence game last week, so I think we've been waiting to see what is he going to become. Yep. And didn't he become something out of the middle last week?
Best game I've seen him play. You know, he's got a big reputation, Ollie, and I've had this debate with Scoot McClure for a fair period of time. You know, he thinks he's a very good player at the present time. I think he's had very good games, but he's had one finish in the top 10 in the best and fairest. That's not a very good player. That's a kid still showing promise, and that's what happens when you're 22 or 23. But now at 24, now's the time for him really to start playing like he's a serious player, and that's the sort of game he played last week. He looks like he's put on some muscle. He used that muscle. He kicked with more accuracy. I really liked his game, and if he can do that on a regular basis, he should finish in the top 5 in the best and fairest, and that's not easy in this team.
Kennedy's moved to half-back, so this is the modern move of the ageing midfielder. It might not be for everybody, though. He looked excellent in the pre-season, but just not quite as set last week.
Modern-day retirement village. Selwood's down. Selwood's on the other end of the ground. We've got Pendlebury down there.
But even Collingwood put Pendlebury into the middle in the last quarter.
Indeed,
when the game
he
was on
did.
the
And
line.
I'd be surprised, given how much of a bullocking midfield that the Cats have got, that he doesn't do a little bit of work. He wasn't comfortable there last week. He turned the ball over more than I've seen him turn it over, which may have meant he was a bit uncomfortable. It might have meant he just had a bad game in his first game across the half-back line. But that is certainly a watch. Selwood's a watch. He was good last week, playing more of a half-forward line role, but he can go into the middle. And I reckon he's probably going to have to go through the middle for a period because of the weight of numbers. But Chad Warner as a kid, I think, is an outstanding prospect. He fell foul to injury late last year, so he didn't get through to the finals. He's 20 years of age, Jared. He's a kid that could be anything. He's got a brother here, but this kid will play inside mid, but he's fast. He's got incredible skills. He's one to keep an eye on. And I think the promise to Stevens, who was thinking about going back to Adelaide at the end of last year, was he's going to play midfield minutes. I thought he was pretty good last week. He wasn't a star, but he can float over to the wing where he played last week. But he looks a different unit to me this year, playing through the middle of the ground. The one I'm interested in most is Logan McDonald. He's a kid that they have pictured. Logan McDonald is Buddy Franklin in 5 years' time. He's the replacement. Whether they can continue to play McLean and McDonald and Buddy in the same forward line is debatable. There are other options when they're ready and able to come in. But Logan McDonald doesn't get much of the footy, but gee, when he gets it, he looks impressive.
Let's consult the Kubota cast for Kubota. Together we are shaping and building Australia. It is 21 degrees in night. There's some chance of rain in the next hour, but beyond that the forecast is better than it looked like it was going to be. Kubota shaping and building Australia, and the ground is in beautiful nick for the first AFL game here since June for Pope. The better way to water Pope's Drip Ease makes drip irrigation a breeze.
Can I ask you, as two guys who've followed you along all your lives, are you pleased with this decision to go a different method?
Oh, I'm thrilled, but we need to see it over more than 1 week. But yeah, they've been a hard watch at times over the last few years.
Yeah, they've been a tough team to watch. A little bit laborious, but they've been close for a long time.
Unmissable moments the whole night might be unmissable for Drinkwise. Choose to Drinkwise. You won't miss a moment if you drink wise. That's all for Autobarn. Top Gear, low prices. Dane Rampy won the toss. The Swans will kick to the Randwick end to the right as we look at it. And Lance Franklin starts in the goal square with Jack Henry as his marksman. So the final word from Jared Healy for Shawl Unify, your national uniform and workwear experts. Who wins, Jared?
I think that now that it's dry, I'm confident with the Swans tip. If it had been wet, I would have gone to Geelong. But ultimately, this is about the contested ball multiplied by the accuracy.
The opening bounce is coming for Tyre Power. Save on Kumo, store-wide super sale now on AFL Nation on a Friday night, a loaded Friday night. The Swans and the Cats.
And Buddy is alone in the goal square. Everybody else is up on the forward line. So this is just get it, kick it long, let Buddy do his thing.
You're with Anthony Hudson.
Henry is his opponent. Sava Radagalia has the number one rock job again for the Cats. He's up against Tom Hickey. Friday night footy, will it be Buddy's big night? We'll find out soon. It begins with a ruck infringement and a perplexed Tom Hickey. The free kick going the way of Sava Radagalia. It's off the instep. It drops to a 1-on-2 against the Cats, and McCartan of the Paddy variety goes up and takes the intercept mark and skims a kick out to Errol Goulden, who couldn't quite hang on. The ball came with pace. Hughes did enough and sees it out.
Great start by Paddy, and just keep an eye on his kicking. He's absolutely superb. And we're actually on Tom Hickey hit out to disadvantage watch.
Radagalia and Hickey.
A couple last week straight down the throat of Giants who kick goals.
On the members' wing, Radaglia gets his hand to it first. It's a battle, though, underneath. Heaney's kick tumbles into Parfitt, fell down near Mills. Heaney and Parfitt all still there. High contact, Swans free kick. Heaney's able to release the ball. Goulden on the break, has a bounce, run down by Close. Got it to his boot, it trickled away. Taken by Hayward. He too is rounded up by Close, and that's holding the ball. Maniacally tackling Brad Close at the start of the game.
Yeah, great work by Close. Really poor awareness by a couple of Swans there.
Yeah, Goulden particularly. He was urged by his teammates to kick it, but he didn't. Short from Close, still behind centre to Zach Guthrie, and then more of the same to Mitch Duncan.
Stewart on McLean. McLean pushing right up the ground.
Plays it out wide to the extreme right, half-forward flank where Cam Guthrie marks, flips the hand pass. Kolodjasny, he has one goal in AFL footy, and now he might just have a second. From 45 metres out, he put it through. And the opening goal is for the Cats, and it comes from a defender in Jake Kolodjasny.
It was a brilliant kick. It was on a really tight angle. He'd worked really hard to get down there. I mean, the Swans, it's a 2-goal turnaround. The Swans should have kicked a goal with Errol Goulden just waltzing through the middle of the ground as if he was in a training drill. No awareness whatsoever. And they turn it around, go to the other end of the ground, and a defender has pushed up and kicked the first.
Tyre Power scoreboard, your trusted tyre experts. Cats with the first goal after 2 minutes of play. On the Makita clock, rule the outdoors with Makita. Mills and Parfitt, Dangerfield and Rowbottom. And Florent and Cam Guthrie in the middle with the two ruckmen going at it. Tapped down by Radaglia. Parfitt tried to get it to Dangerfield. He ended up kicking it off the ground near the wing. It didn't work. Hayward's onto it. Blitzavs wraps him up as soon as he took hold. It did fall from his grasp. Goulden tackled the ground. The Cats rounded up in defence. Buse to Kolodjasny, back in his natural habitat. Uses it short to Duncan on return. Kicks on the 45 aggressively to centre half back for Isaac Smith, and quickly out the near side. Zach Guthrie takes the mark. Has a look forward. He's got the runner on in Atkins. He can give it to Cam Guthrie. Quick transfer of play. Tried to poke it up into the pocket for Zach Tui, but Blakey got there to make a partial smother, and it's out of play.
Jared, that passage of play wouldn't have happened last year, I don't reckon, from Geelong. Would you agree?
I'd agree with that, Hutto, and it was a joy to watch. It was brilliant use of the football, and quite clearly the Swans are trying to drag Stewart away from being the second deepest defender so he can intercept on Buddy.
Free kick, I reckon, going Sydney's way for a bit of a cuddle from Asava Radaglia. Wrap the arms around Hickey. Dangerous kick across the face. It might be touched by a Geelong player first. It was a 50-50. Rampy was able to use Lloyd as a willing ally. Then he lost his footing and handball back to Lloyd. Dangerous chip-in kick. And Zach Tui gleefully intercepts with a juggler.
Well, the pressure is absolutely superb by Geelong. Swans look really poor at this stage. I think Hickey looks as if he's struggling at this stage. He's lost his leap, Hickey. He jumps into players. He does his best work around the ground. And it was his poor kick, actually, that put the Swans under pressure. But that's now 2 turnovers for 2 shots at goal, and Tui doesn't miss too many from here.
Yes, he got a little overexcited on the kick, but now it is Zach Tui, who shapes to the side, as he usually does, gathers himself, and from 40 metres out, it's a bit up and under, but it's dead straight. And the Cats have 2 goals, both kicked from a similar position. One on the run from Kolodjasny, and that set shot there from Zach Tui. What a player he's been for the Cats. Tyre Power scoreboard, your trusted tyre experts. And our expert tonight is Jared Healy for Shaw Unify, uniform experts.
Well, I couldn't be more impressed with Geelong, seeing them live for the first time this year. You can just see how much more buy-in they've got for the playing quick football. Everyone's charging up the ground. There's no sense of slow play. That said, the Swans haven't been able to get it in and lock it in and press up at any stage so far, but that one was from Jake Lloyd. First kick of the season for him. It's one he'd rather forget.
It's an Amy Clanger who covers clangers. Amy does. Bunny Franklin to the goal square at the Randwick end, where he has started at each centre bounce. The Cats 2 straight to nothing. High bounce to Waite underneath. The ruckman knock it out the side. Parfitt towed it forward. It's cut off, though, by Mills to Heaney. Yeah, as Lloyd's giving ground under fierce pressure, and Heaney's worked over by Parfitt. Atkins releases it to Duncan on the fly. From 50 out, he bangs it across the face of goal. And it's the first blemish from the Cats. 13 plays nil on the Tyre Power, your trusted tyre expert scoreboard.
Well, there's always a hunter and there's always a hunted in this game. And right now, the Cats, despite them being the superior side over a long, long time, they are hunting so much better than Sydney. Sydney are playing like Geelong. They're trying to keep the ball off them. And yet the Cats are making them make many mistakes.
Element of danger, but well executed. That kick from Mills to Florent. They find their way through the middle of the ground. Mills kept on coming. Deep kick. Cats defend. Bodies go down. Zach Guthrie got there first. Handball to Stewart, who waved it away from Hickey, knocked it out of bounds. And Hickey took out his frustrations on Stewart, and he had to be a little bit careful there. The umpires waved it away. The ball went over the line and out of bounds. Something for the Swans fans to get excited about, though. They got some fluency and some run. Moved the ball quickly. Now they find themselves 30 metres around from goal. Throw in. Hickey versus Blitzarves. Falls to the front. Florent tackle, drag down. Got a handball away. Stewart to Selwood to Buse to Smith, who basically threw it over to Parfitt, who bangs it up. Radaglia can't outmark Blakey, who stood his ground. Darts, runs from 60. It's over Buddy's head, though, and there was 3 Cats ready for it. Buddy's just gone right over the mark. But there, the umpire to pay 50 to the great Buddy Franklin. Atkins the mark and the short kick, and he finds Zach Toohey between full-back and centre half.
He's just about their most important player at the moment, Nick Blakey, bringing the ball in. Over the last 12 or so games, his run-off half-back has been unbelievable.
Toohey was patient, and Selwood opened things up at half-back, and he shot the hand pass quickly to Henry. He has doubled back and just caused a moment of hesitation to Selwood, who kicks aggressively up the wing. Parfitt committed himself. He cannoned into Blakey. Ball got past them. Heaney goes to ground. Hand passed in hope more than anything. Parker knocked it to the advantage of Blakey, who squirts it out the side, and that will work. Kennedy out of half-back on the bounce, but he wants it deep. He's kicked instead for Hayward at the top of the square, and the Swans get there first. Buddy the decoy. Will Hayward opens the scoring for the home sides. Sydney a goal. Cats 2-1-13 on the Tyre Power, your trusted tyre expert scoreboard.
Well, Kennedy turned the ball over twice last week. He's responded with the best kick of the game so far. That was only half a chance. The kick made it a full chance. Absolutely superb off the half-back line, and great running by Hayward to come from 50 metres away to get in behind Buddy the decoy. And Kennedy, he just absolutely delivered a bullet. Well played. Swans needed it. They need to settle a bit because the Cats are right on top.
I don't reckon Joel Selwood would have taken that kick last year either, so Jared, so
Yep.
that's the downside, I guess, isn't it?
Well, you've got to be prepared to give a few up if you're going to try and kick more than you used to.
Terrific goal from Hayward. Back to 7 points then, as both sides settle down. Radaglia charges into Hickey, who got the umpire's bowled over. Crowd love that. It's Bill's loose. Warner, what a kick. It's deep to the goal square. Stewart pushes off his man, and under just enough pressure to give it a couple of whacks. And he himself collided with the post before getting the ball to safety. It's 2-1-13 Geelong. Sydney 1-1-7. Tyre Power kicking goals with 25% off on Kumo tyres.
Stewart on the kick in, short to Isaac Smith, who turns and goes and pumps it out to half-back, but Paddy McCartan read it well. He stepped off Cameron, his direct opponent, and works the intercept. Short to Stevens. Franklin, yes, it's coming up short of Buddy. That's where Warner takes the mark.
He could almost go the distance, this kid. He's a beautiful kick.
Chad Warner, he sags it into the pocket, where the Swans were able to open up multiple targets, and Wicks takes the mark on the tight angle.
Buddy's sitting in the goal square, a little bit perplexed, hands on hips. It's all about Buddy at the present time, but he can't get near it.
Sam Wicks on the bender. It's near sides. And through from behind. Cats by 5 on the Tyre Power, your trusted tyre expert scoreboard.
So the Cats have got a couple of rebound goals. Swans also with a rebound goal. Nothing from stoppage, nothing from centre bounce, although they've had one genuine chance.
Isaac Smith has the footy. Going to bring it back into play. He didn't get all of the kick, so it's tossed high up into the night sky. McCartan again comes out. He's got a real feel for it. Paddy McCartan gives it a big fist. Smacked it over the boundary line and out of bounds at half forward for the Swans. And you can feel the love in the air, not just for Buddy, but for Paddy McCartan as well, one of the great stories of round one.
Got a mismatch now, though. They've swung a change, but McCartan temporarily at least is on Dangerfield.
Oh, we've missed the Swans crowd. Just love the boundary throw more than any other group of fans in the country. And they love Hickey, but he got a bit smart as he picked up the clearance and his kick was smothered. In goes Blitzars, but there's high contact on Warner, I fancy. And so Warner's going to get the free kick. So Franklin has his arm right up. He's at the top of the goal square. He's calling for it deep. Hickey's down there as well. It's tossed up high again. Cats defenders and the ruckman Stanley come out to spoil. Blitzar's off the pack. Smartly to Stewart, who sets sail for Cam Guthrie. Makes himself a bit of a target. Campbell goes whackety-whack a couple of times, then gets tackled maybe without the footy. Grabbed by Warner, who's been prominent. Florent got to his feet. Handball to Stevens. Some young Swans tried to be a bit too cute. Now Tui runs into a wall of Swans defenders. He didn't have prior opportunity, according to the umpire. And thus it's a ball up in the pocket, 35 metres around from the Swans goal. Sydney 1-8, Geelong 2-13. Tyre Power, your trusted tyre expert.
And if I was in the crowd, I'd ask Stevens if he's got a right foot.
They fight for the ball at the stoppage. Socket off the ground by Tui. Cleared the defensive 50. Stengel takes it. Hand passed over his head to Dalhouse. He's in the tackle of Campbell, and his kick thus is a bit wonky and it turns over. The Swans with a chance to build. Kennedy shoots it in close. Kick comes wide inside the 50. All too wide. And out of bounds on the full off the boot of Braden Campbell.
So the Swans have had control of the ball for about 4 or 5 minutes, but you can't help but be impressed by the really strong pressure, the chase down of the Cats. They're really committed to it and making life tough and getting numbers back, just blocking every little bit of space Buddy's got.
Blitzar's used Henry against the behind post, and he prodded the ball out and found Kolajasny. Selwood's on at half-back. Kolajasny's going to kick it longer than that. Radaglia and Stanley, his 2 targets. Hickey is able to rove the pack underneath and work the hand pass inboard to Warner, to Parker and back to Warner. He checks his kick for Wicks. True centre half forward. Franklin leads into the pocket. Kolajasny's his direct opponent. Now he comes on the direct lead, and Wicks is absolutely determined not to kick it there. He goes near McLean and Heaney at the top of the square, spinning through row bottom, awkward with the snap, and he's hit the behind post. No score. It stays the Cats by 5 on the Tyre Power, your trusted tyre expert scoreboard.
I know you said it's slightly tongue-in-cheek, Buddy the decoy, but right now Buddy is the decoy.
Yeah.
He's running players away and they're getting in behind him. It looks like the only way he's going to get a lead is if there's a big rebound off the half-back line, because it's too crowded.
Cats on the way out. Holmes takes the mark, kicks up along the wing, but McCartan, Paddy McCartan just steps in and takes the mark. And he has it on the wing, so the game being played exclusively in Sydney's half, or it was until he was happy to give up 45 metres and play it back and find his brother. Here's a bit of brotherly love for you. As Lou used to always say when Bruce and Ian and Curvis were waxing across the half-back flank at Kidinia Park. Instead it's the Swans and the experienced Cunningham who is called into the action at left half-back. Hasn't gone too far. This is the short stuff. Parker, though, and he gives the handball to Cunningham, who paces out of defence, gets it long. Heaney with the fly. Can't take the mark, but there might be a downfield free, is it? And Heaney is going to be the recipient.
Well, once again, Buddy led up to about 70 from goal. They kicked it straight over his head to Heaney, who was in a 1-out position. So he's just got to accept that that's his lot in life at the present time and stay focused.
Maybe that's the John Longmire plan over the first month. Yep. We're going to make this last as long as possible and just lure the defences into looking after Buddy.
He might be getting 10% of the take.
So Isaac Heaney showing his superb talents more and more from 40 metres out. Lays back into that one and puts it right through. Enjoys the plaudit to the crowd on a Friday night at the SCG. It's great to be back. 2-2-14 plays 2-1-13. Midpoint of this opening term. Makita Clock rule outdoors with Makita.
Well, the Swans have had, they couldn't have been worse in the first 5 or 6 minutes, and the last 5 or 6, they've maybe 8. They've had control of the game, had a lot more possession than Geelong, and they've finally got a couple of goals on the board to square it up. Really good, entertaining first quarter of football, and it does look as if the Swans youngsters, in particular Chad Warner and Paddy McCartan, be their best 2 players at the present time.
Swans running hot for Ream, steady, hot and strong. 2-2 to 2-1, they lead it. Ball back in the middle of the SCG. Thumped into the turf. Stanley flew in the ruck. Cam Guthrie had a wild old swing at it. Missed. McLean gathers and the Swans come forward. Atkins first play. Had the mark spoiled out of his grasp. Blitzav's fights on. Gives it to Atkins. Quick kick down the wing. Paddy McCartan again. That's 4 intercept marks. He's gone the $1 million pass into the middle of the ground. Spoils were made, but Warner tidies up. Hand passes to McLean. Tui came at him, released it in hurry. Florent just pushed his way past Stengel. Kick for the open space. And Goulden takes the mark.
Well, right now their ball movement, they just look a little bit slick and a little bit quick. And the Cats has got to start winning some ball at the stoppage because they're not getting it back off them at this stage. Paddy McCartan right now is looking like an all-time great fullback. He is near on best on ground. He's playing at fullback.
Errol Goulden, as a result, directly in front, 40 metres from goal. Goulden skips into his run-up, launches the left foot drop punt, and the goal umpire never moves. 3 in a row for the Swans. They lead it by 7 points. 3-2-20 to Geelong 2-1-13 on the Tyre Power, your trusted tyre expert scoreboard.
Well, it's working right now. Buddy the decoy. But you just have to be impressed with the youth of the Swans. They're highly skilled, they're tough, and they run hard. And collectively, with a little bit of Heaney cream on top, they're getting it done. I think Hickey's had a good 5 or 6 minutes as well. But they are a little bit slick right now. The last 10 minutes for the Cats, they're going to have to get their hands on the ball and start controlling it a little bit.
So back in the middle. McLean now taking his turn in the ruck against Stanley.
Buddy's pushed out a bit. They've got 2 behind him now.
Perfect bounce to split the ruckman. Stanley got the tap straight forward, but it's the Swans onto it. Mills up and under, hoiked it around the corner, knocked away from Goulden, fell to Selwood, off to Blitzarves. Hesitated just for a moment, then hooked it himself to centre half forward. It bounces perfectly for Cameron's left foot, but he was running away from goal a little too rapidly and he sprays it on the full.
Well, he collected it magnificently, just didn't hit the kick that well, but they just haven't had too many opportunities in that forward 50.
So the footy is with Cunningham.
So the Swans have had 11 inside 50s. The Cats have had 6.
Terrible kick from Cunningham is marked comfortably by Cam Guthrie as Hawkins pushes out of the goal square, but that position in front of him is well filled by the Swans defence, who are ever ready. He goes for a talk. He misfires it. It could go anywhere, and it's one of the McCartans. And which one? Paddy again. And he goes short across to Rowbottom, and then they work their way out as Goulden takes the mark in defensive 50.
Lucky not to be punished there. That's 2 really bad turnover kicks from experienced Swans players.
Goulden expansive round the outer wing. Heaney was the target. Zach Guthrie made the spoil too. He helped him out. So Guthrie's able to pump the Cats wide inside the 50. Tom McCartan leads Tom Hawkins to the contest. McCartan needs a bit of help and Paddy's there to lend a hand. Hand pass to Goulden as the pressure closes in. He gives it to Campbell, who finds the way out. Right against the boundary to McDonald's, who's led all the way up the field to be the outlet mark. He'll just hold up, search for targets under the Bill O'Reilly stand, find none, and give ground back inside the 50. Cunningham, Tom McCartan, and the switch to the near side for Lloyd. Close arrives. He couldn't pinch it, but he was able to jar it free and knock it out of play. Left forward pocket for the Cats.
So it's a real flaw at the moment. Cats pressure in the forward line's good. Swans kicking out of the back 50 is poor. It's already cost them 1, may cost them 2.
Warm applause for Paddy McCartan as he came to the bench for Spitwater. Tough and ready, knocked straight back to the boundary, so try the same thing again. Deep forward for the Cats. Hawkins against McLean will be the ruck contest. Shoulder to shoulder. Knocked down to the front, it cleared the first lines, and Cunningham tackled close to the boundary by Cam Guthrie.
So the Swans are essentially just going man on man at this stoppage. They're trying to get the deepest player. They've got 1 extra sweeper back, but This time, Jeremy Cameron has pushed right back that he's taken Rampy with him.
Nothing effective from the ruck work. It was well done by Rowbottom at the drop, though. Knocked it out to Goulden, and Franklin's first shot is up on the wing. Hugs the chest mark. He kicks it up the line. Hayward was his target. Spoil maids. Heaney on the tidy up to Hayward, who was hit hard by Blitzarms and dragged out toward the boundary where it will be thrown in. It's the Swans by 7 around the grounds for Chemist Warehouse. Great savings every day. Pakistan 3 for 164 in Lahore.
Cats with the first 2 goals of this game, and the Swans have responded strongly. They've kicked the next 3. Terrible throw-in, well short. It ended up favouring the Swans. Goulden gave a little hand pass. McLean skims one on the bounce to Wicks. It was too hot to handle. Blitzarves closed out the space. Wicks got through, had a possession, but couldn't dispose of it cleanly. Instead, Geelong through Holmes. He received the handball, then hesitated. Eventually kicks to an open centre-half forward. Cameron had the ball knocked away cleanly, though, by Rampy. And the Swans are on the move. Wide to half forward. Over McDonald and Stewart's head. Rounded up by Kolajasny. Immediate company. Shakes off Hayward just. Gave it to Stewart. He was under the pump. And a tackle came from McDonald. And then Close got one high. And that's what Geelong needed right there and then, because they're under serious heat again from the Swans.
He's going okay, Close. Number of half free kicks possibly there. I think McDonald probably a bit stiff not to get the push in the back. But
so Brad Close from half back. Up to the wing, and Blakey was powerful in the air, but he left it behind. Parfitt just hammers it blindly forward, so blindly in fact, but it's gone out of bounds on the full, and it'll be a penalty free kick to go to the Sydney Swans. Still 3-2-20, plays 2-1-13. Tyre Power, your trusted tyre expert, in the Swans' favour.
Rampy inboard to Mills, pokes it to Blakey, stepped off his line, was desperate to play on. He's drawn a lot of pressure and he found the way through all of that, including sidestepping Dalhouse. Gives it away to Campbell. No, he ran too far, Blakey. He's got lost in his endeavours trying to get round the third and the fourth opponents. Selwood pokes it up to the 50, sat it a little bit high. It runs on. Parker gets there first. Close is with him, holding the ball. Or illegal disposal, take your pick. Close had him pegged, and Parker threw it away.
I think on those occasions, the player's just got to tap the ball in front of him.
Quick hand pass to Jeremy Cameron, who misses to the near side. Right idea, and he was in heaps of space, 45 out, just didn't hit it sweetly. Cats are down by 6 on the Tyre Power Your Expert scoreboard.
Lloyd quickly runs in and gives the hand pass off to Tom McCartan, who measures the kick but didn't get the measurements right that time, and it's an easy intercept mark to Blitzarves. Fields offers, gets a hand pass from Buse, who guides cleverly to Hawkins, who comes out and takes the mark. About 45 metres out, he'll kick from all of 50.
Once again on the back of a poor kick from a Swan who really wasn't under any pressure, but they've rebounded. They pushed everybody up Geelong, so they're being rewarded for their good work. And Tom Hawkins is every chance to kick this one. It's probably about 8 out of 10 difficulty, but he's such a beautiful kick. He can punch the ball. If he hits it square, he'll hit it through about 3/4 of the way up the goalpost.
Not necessarily his preferred side. It would be for most right footers. He's the inverse to Buddy, the left footer in many ways. Starts it at the left goalpost, starts to fade, as is his natural angle. It goes too far and through for a minor score. So 2-3-15. And Swans the reverse at 3-2-20. Have a 5-point lead. Tyre Power, your trusted tyre expert.
Australia have struck in Lahore. Pat Cummins gets the 4th wickets. Middle session on day 5. Long kick from the Swans to the wing. All manner of flyers. Warner stayed down. He's leading all comers on the field. 8th possession for safety, Steel Sheds. Through Mills and Parker. They mucked it up though. Selwood to Close, trying to get it to Cameron. Parker ran interference, got caught by Selwood, got it away to Lloyd. Warner has another go. Goulden, Blakey's hot. Close is tackling everything in sight. Tumble kick came the way of Hickey. Had a devil at a time getting hold of it. Cameron, though, lost possession, and Goulden sends a high ball inside the 50. Heaney stayed down, so too Hayward. So the Geelong defenders made the spoils. Goulden hand passes around the 50. Towed off the ground by Isaac Smith, and he closes on it against the boundary. Takes more territory down the line as he sockets it to the advantage of Dalhouse. Turns onto his right boot. Probes for half forward for Selwood. Isaac Smith still running up inside the 50. Selwood's eyes went the other way. Now he goes to Smith, who had company with Duncan coming across his line.
Once again, the Swans just overusing the football, not overusing it as much as poor use of the football. And Isaac Smith doing a great job getting down in defence, a couple of soccer kicks, and now he gets an opportunity. Dangerfield's the one that the Cats need to get going. It's BOG by a mile last week, just one possession in the first quarter.
Isaac Smith, 45-degree angle to the left and 55 metres out from goal. He does have this kick in his repertoire. Isaac Smith loops out to the left, thumps it at goal. He's just a yard or two short. And Hickey knocks it through for a rushed score. Swans by 4 on the Tyre Power, your trusted tyre expert scoreboard. 2 minutes and change left in the term.
Aggressive approach on the re-entry. Out to Stevens at left half, back in an instant. And then short to Mills as they look to devise a way forward. And that seems well evident now as Parker provides a good option and is on it. And more of the short stuff. Franklin on the logo, takes the mark onto the left, away from Kolajasny quickly. Up to McDonald, who takes the mark. Logan McDonald, left half forward. Buddy's paced away and doubled back to the short. In his prime, he can kick it from here. Doesn't try it on. Top of the square. Cats seem to have it covered off hands. Radicalier made it Henry's issue. He made it Blitzar's problem. Scrambling kick. It's still loose in the pocket. Mishandled by Kolajasny. Grabbed by Warner. Flings the hand pass. Franklin went to ground. He's not going to kick a goal there. Radicalier end on end. But the Swans have got the numbers. Campbell short to Lloyd. It's just beyond him. So he spots Kennedy.
Playing good game so far, Kennedy. But that time the Swans' ball use was at the required level. Hit targets everywhere.
So Josh Kennedy with his side 4 points in front and a minute 10 remaining in this opening term on the Makita clock. Ruley outdoors with Makita. It's going to take his best.
Short chip.
He needs to kick it 51.5 metres. He's kicked it high to the line, not beyond, and it's a smart play by Reece Stanley. He got over the top and then just hooked it back over his head for a conceded behind. 3-3-21 Sydney, 2-4-16 Geelong. Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts.
Inside 50s 14-12 in the Swans' favour for Safety Steel Sheds, and Dangerfield's had one. He's on the lead trying to get his second. He dropped the mark though. Mills was able to pinch it, share it with Kennedy. Buddy's in the pocket, takes the mark. The crowd saw him before his teammates did. It'll be the tightest of angles out on the right. They're standing right the way around the SCG to see the first shot at goal of Lance Franklin on what could become a storied night. He's on 9.96. He'll come across the juncture of 50 and the boundary. Franklin, silence greets the kick. Magnificent! He turns to the fans. The force is with him. Franklin's first. This is what they've come for. What about the hush as he came in, as if they were holding up quiet, please?
Everybody wants to be here on the historic day, and this was good ball movement. That's the first time Buddy's had any space, and Mills is having a pretty good game. He chipped it just into Buddy. I mean, that is a tough kick, but Buddy just made it look simple, and he's pumped himself. Guttural exhaust of the air, and everybody rode the wave of his excitement in the crowd.
Splendid replay for car sales, everything you ought to know. 4-3-27 Sydney, 2-4-16 Geelong. Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts.
And one thing we know with Buddy, it can happen so quickly. Nothing more is going to happen, though, before quarter time. So the Cats kicked the first two, but Sydney thereafter were the only goal scorers. 4 of them. Buddy has 1. So does Hayward, Goulden and Heaney. Kolajasny and Tui got the Cats going. 4-3-27, place 2-4-16. All the numbers for Safety Steel Sheds. And late in the quarter, it was Buddy running hot for Ream. Steady, hot and strong. Quarter time on AFL Nation, your Tyre Power scoreboard, your trusted tyre experts.
That quarter on AFL Nation was for Tyre Power. Save on Kumo. Store-wide super sale now on.
When you need the job done right, You want your pressure cleaner built like a team, tough and ready. Our brand new look Splitwater kicks the goals and gets the checkered flag every time by solving the problems the others can't. So when you're after the game changer, just reach for the tough and ready Splitwater pressure cleaner, made in Australia since 1982. Want to see the new Splitwater? Call 1-800-SPLITWATER now or go to splitwater.com.au.
There's claims out there about every golf ball on the shelf. So we won't claim that TaylorMade's TP5 is the #1 golf ball, because the TP5 beats it. Used by leading players like Rory McIlroy, Dustin Johnson and more, the TP5 features 5-layer technology for better distance, feel and spin. Don't use the #1 golf ball. Tee off with the ball that beats it. Find the TaylorMade TP5 golf ball at golfbox.co.au.
Excuse me. Thanks. Dear.com, you've been with me since I started the business, and I have to say, I don't know how I've done it with you. You've made it hard. You're too long-winded. You're not memorable, and you're not even a proud Australian. So I ask you all to raise your glass with me and say, goodriddance.com.
Ditch the .com and get a .au domain name from webcentral.au, the home of .au.
You adapt to the changes in your life, so why shouldn't your home? A Duncan Thompson Home Extension will make it happen.
Duncan Thompson Extensions takes care of everything from the design to the permits to the build. And they're a family business that's been extending homes for over 40 years, so they know what's most important. From concept to completion, they'll plan, design and extend your slice of the world outwards or upwards. It's good to be home.
DuncanThompson.com.au.
Introducing the Drive Car of the Year. The all-new Kia Sportage. Awarded for its new turbo engine that gives you progressive performance. The Kia Sportage has a boldly sculpted sportsback design and soft touch leather interior, making it a natural leader. Kia Sportage, the Drive Car of the Year. To find out more, visit kia.com.au or visit your nearest Kia dealer.
Kia, movement that inspires.
Looking for innovative appliances designed with the environment in mind? Then look no further. For over 110 years, Whirlpool has been a leader in kitchen and laundry appliances. Using patented 6 Sense technology, Whirlpool guarantees outstanding results while saving precious time and energy. That's the best result for you, your family and the environment. So, have you got a Whirlpool? Visit whirlpool.com.au to find a stockist near you.
Relationships are built on compromise, but never compromise on sleep. At 40 Winks, our exclusive bed match technology can tailor the perfect mattress for you and your partner. We call it My Side. It's 2 beds in 1. Firmer over here, softer over there. And right now, when you get your bed match profile in store and buy any My Side mattress, get your partner's side free. But hurry, this in-store offer ends Sunday. Exclusively at 40 Winks, serious about sleep.
G'day, it's Scott Sattler here. It's the Aussie way to socialise over a cold beer, isn't it? But what if alcohol doesn't work for you anymore? Try a sober beer. Created on the Gold Coast in 2017, Sober was the first to market non-alcoholic craft beer in Australia. Recently awarded a silver medal for their Pepperberry IPA from the Independent Brewers Association Awards, Sober is breaking down the stigma of socialising sober. Non-alcoholic craft beer brewed with Australian bush tucker. Try a Sober, a truly social drink.
You're listening to the 2022 Premiership season on AFL Nation for Beaumont Tiles. For all your tiling needs, in stock now. Love it at Moments. Feed the whole team with Macca's 40-piece Chicken McNuggets pack today.
Cam Guthrie marks, flips the hand pass. Colin Jasny, he has 1 goal in AFL footy, and now he might just have a second. From 45 metres out, he put it through.
Kennedy out of half-back on the bounce, but he wants it deep. He's kicked instead for Hayward at the top of the square, and the Swans get there first. Hills was able to pinch and share with Kennedy, but he's in the pocket, takes the mark. He's on 9.96. Silence greets the kick. Magnificent! He turns to the fans. The force is with him. Whole family with Macca's 40-piece chicken McNuggets pack today. It's the Swans by 11. Jared Healy.
Well, at the start of the night, we predicted that this match would be decided by a combination of contested possession and accuracy. Well, right now, Geelong are down in both. 2 goals for. They've had a couple of opportunities they should have nailed, and they're in arrears there. And contested possession, they are getting absolutely walloped in that department, so they need to address that. Stories of the night so far, it's all about Paddy McCartan. He is one of the best on the ground. He's been a revelation, really. He's playing a game as if he'd been there for 200. And then at the other end of the quarter, Buddy kicked one of the required goals to get him across the line, and didn't the crowd love it? Cats need their best players to get involved. Paddy Dangerfield hasn't touched it. Parfitt's been okay, but around the ball they're getting beaten badly.
Opening bounce to the second term for Tyre Power, your match day favourites for Tyre Safety. Out of the middle, the Cats momentarily forward off the boot of Cam Guthrie. Still some work to be done. Parfitt to Stanley. High ball inside the 50. Radagalia's closing. Blakey was there first. Close did enough to force a spoil. Radagalia fights on well. Released the hand pass. It threatened to get out near Stengel. It didn't. And Blakey's taken over the boundary.
I think the cricket pitch has been most difficult for the players to get that break out of the middle, hasn't it?
Yeah, so slippery. It's one of the few grounds that's still got turf in it.
Guthrie's hurt here.
Yes. Cummins has struck again in Lahore. He's got Rizwan for a duck. 5 down. 5 for 167. Cats up near the 50. Trailing by 11 points. Stanley knocked it down near Cam Guthrie, who seemed to make high contact.
He's annoyed.
And then he bowled over Cunningham as he kicked it, and it's down the ground. It'll be Heaney's ball.
I think that was a make-up free kick. They missed the first one and made up the second one.
Buddy's pushing a lot further up the ground. They've got to kick it a little bit longer, I reckon, when they get a break. Was that 50 with Guthrie just cruising through the protected zone?
Could easily have been. Lloyd took the short pass. He's an angry man at the moment, Cam Guthrie. I just feel like he got mistreated. More short stuff to Dylan Stevens, still operating at left half back and accepting the short offers, as we've seen them do through this game so far. So Florent still behind the wing and in no apparent hurry. Now he sets sail to where the numbers start to multiply. Franklin in amongst the tall timber. Pack just capsized. It's a loose, fluky ball. Guided down to Parker cleverly. Franklin's not far away from it, but Stewart stabs it very close to the line, and it's not a bad result for the Cats. Although Tui is going to be pinged for holding the ball.
Throwing.
Yeah, or throwing the ball. It appeared as if he might have been over the line, but he wasn't. And so, good reward for the Swans' pressure. Relentless as it has been. Stevens now off the left boot. Franklin is looming over the top. Oh, McLean just took off and nearly dragged down a spectacular mark to upstage Buddy Franklin. He dropped it. The Cats come away, and probably their best player in the first half so far. Brad Close takes the mark and goes short to Cameron. He got nudged as he flew, and he's going to get a free kick on the wing.
Let's see how he kicks this. He hasn't nailed a kick yet. He hasn't put too much time on the grass this week, I wouldn't think.
No, he looked a bit stung after the contact he got there too. He is moving fluently. He's kicked it inboard and retrieved from Stanley and then put it onto the chest of Hawkins. So he made light of that in that one passage of play.
Yes, and it was a passage of play that Chris Scott will be thrilled with, and John Longmire will be filthy with, because they just let the channels open up, and Cameron just waltzed through the middle of the ground, and Tom Hawkins got on the skates, and he goes back and has another crack at a goal.
And play of the day for visitmildura.com.au.
But on replay, he definitely winched.
Tom Hawkins, not a great deal of angle to deal with. He's through the 50. Hawkins is missed by a big margin. He's only snuck it in on the right-hand side for a behind. They're down by 10, the Cats, on the scoreboard for the Macca's 40-piece chicken McNuggets pack.
So Jake Lloyd back at the team this week, one of a couple of changes for the Swans. Kicks it back in. I don't think he got pure contact, and in fact it bounces before it got to Cunningham, who is tackled just as he kicked it from Radaglia, and that tackle, that pressure was enough. It's out of bounds on the full. Blitzars with a quick assessment, peering deep into the 50. Radaglia is the longest tall target. He goes much shorter than all of that, and Isaac Smith just gave him an option still outside the perimeter.
So a couple of experienced players. Cunningham didn't have much time because Lloyd's kick was poor, and it's going to be another resultant shot at goal. And
perfectly weighted kick. There was some danger in the short pass, but the defence couldn't do much about it, and it landed, deposited right on the right in front of Mitch Duncan, who will have that shot for goal.
And here's another one who really hasn't had a lot of the footy. Guthrie's had 3, Atkins has had 6, and Duncan's had 5. So they're not big numbers midway through the second.
Interrupted pre-season for Mitch Duncan. A couple of steps inside the 50. Got a fair piece of it. Goal umpire stays down, watches it sail over his head as the Cats' first goal of the second quarter. And their first since pretty early in the first quarter is registered to Mitch Duncan. Geelong 3-5-23, just 4 points in arrears now. The Swans are 4-3-27. It's all for the Maccas 40-piece Chicken McNuggets pack scoreboard.
And they've all come the same way, their goals. It's just they're feeding on Swans' errors. And when those errors were poor errors, because Jake Lloyd, I know he didn't play last week, but he's an All-Australian. He's a multiple best and fairest winner, and you just can't miss a target 30 metres away, and it goes onto the deck. And Cunningham wasn't too much better, but it was a good work, and it gets them right back in the game. Clearly they're not out of the game by any stretch, but they haven't played good footy for 20 minutes, but they've had the last couple of inside 50s.
Selwood's gone into the centre square with Dangerfield. Holmes, the youngster, completes the Cats group. They're down by 4. Hickey wins the tap in the middle for the Swans. The chase is on. Dangerfield gets there first. Hand passes to Selwood, who found a path through the wing. And lags the hand pass to Isaac Smith, whose kick is smothered terrifically by Kennedy, reaching out with one arm and jarring it loose over the boundary.
There's a great smother, though. Once again, it doesn't matter who gets a hand on the ball first. It's who takes it away, and the Cats have got the territory going.
Swans by 4. Boundary throw in. Out of the Bill O'Reilly stands. Hickey wins the tap down to Goulden. Not a kick with any great penetration. Rowbottom comes up. Blitzovs keeps him off the footy. Atkins is in there in defence to Kolajasny, who's tackled by Franklin. There's a free kick just before that. Atkins taken in the back.
Well, you have to say that Mills is doing an unbelievably good job on Dangerfield. He is actually running with him. He's now going with him in defence. It's a good old-fashioned run-with-roll.
Atkins from half-back near half-forward. Hawkins and Stanley his 2 targets. Stanley goes the spoil. Underneath, Selwood prizes it clear to Stengel, who took them on and lost the footy. He'll go holding the ball. Warner laid the winning tackle.
It's going to be 50 now. He didn't return it. He dropped it and thought he didn't have the responsibility of giving it back, but he did. And so Warner's going to kick quickly. Thought he must have had Buddy in mind and said it was McLean. He gave up some territory to take that kick. It might still come good. No, it slides off feet and it's deliberately out of bounds.
And Buddy just charged over to get into the action here. He was looking for a cheapie there.
But it's not Bud's, it's Heaney's. Who's the Geelong culprit, I wonder? Who socketed it? Get a look at the replay. It was Blitzovs. In fact, they just whacked it. Should have known
That's
better.
Inexcusable for an experienced player.
Heaney's going to edge around here. He starts just outside the boundary. And his feet directed back to the centre of the ground. And then across the body and through the middle. 2 goals for Isaac Heaney. And the music rings out around the SCG to signal the 5th for the Swans. 5-3-33, place 3-5-23. And it's a 10-point margin.
He's an amazing story, Isaac Heaney. His skill level is extreme. And this is a kid from Newcastle. He didn't grow up necessarily with a ball in his hand, but clearly he got put into systems, or he gravitated towards systems of AFL footy at an early enough age. But he's one of the best high marks in the game, and he's one of the best shots at goal round the corner. And there was the mark, the spilled ball. He was just trying to take him on, and the ball got knocked out. He was not tackled at any stage. I'm a bit not with the umpiring panel on this. You've got to be tackled to lose the free kick or give the free kick, and that's just been whacked out of his hands. And I reckon we were told in the lecture at Fox that that's play on.
Franklin's on the bench for Terrador by New Farm Spike herbicide that cuts through. Swans get the ball out near the wing. Kennedy had first play over around it. Isaac Smith socketed away from there and over the boundary to be thrown in. So near enough to right half forward. Sydney kicking to the left in this term as we look at it. A goal apiece thus far in it. And a 10-point margin restored. Stanley taps it down underneath. Mills and Dangerfield go to work. Kennedy rises with it to Goulden, who shot it out to Rowbottom. Gets the kick inside the 50. McLean all haphazard because he was pushed.
Yep. Pushing the backs come back into the game this year. Umpires are a lot more diligent in playing it, and as they should have over the last 5 years where it's gone absent. There's just two hands in the back. I mean, that was let go so many times last year, and this time Stewart has paid the price.
It's a damning replay for car sales, everything you ought to know. So a deliberate out of bounds and a rank push in the back. Concedes consecutive shots at goal. Hayden McLean from 25 out, thumps it through. The Swans open up the biggest lead thus far at 16 points. 6-3-39 to Geelong 3-5-23. Feed the whole team with Macca's 40-piece chicken McNuggets packed today.
Just a few danger signs at the moment. Dangerfield cannot get into the game. Mills is running with him. He's getting a fair few touches himself, and he's been challenged during the week. If you want to go to the next level, if you want to be an All-Australian, well, you go and stand on that bloke. You play him shoulder to shoulder, see if you can get yourself a scalp, and see if you can get Dangerfield into the forward line. And so far, he's delivering. Great stuff from Kennedy. He was the one who won the ball underneath. I'll get to the contested numbers again, but Geelong started well, but Swans have come back hard.
Yes, Dangerfield out of the centre square as the ball is back in motion. Oh, Stanley overcommitted, grabbed by Hickey, deep kick. Henry backing back into the pack fearlessly. It hits the ground. Warner has first play, though he lost his footing. And that allowed Kolodjasny to work his way through and gain a little bit of territory and get it safely out.
So the contested possessions are still a big margin to the Swans, 43-28. And the scary thing is that Luke Parker hasn't really had any influence whatsoever, and I guess he's the Swans' Dangerfield. BOG last week hasn't really had an influence at all.
Hickey swap positions with Blitzars. There's three Cats to sort it out. Zach Guthrie caught. The ball jarred out, holding the ball. Again, there's a bit of a question whether he was actually tackled there or not, but he certainly had possession and took on the tackle.
Yeah, he was tackled.
Actually, the ball was knocked out before he was tackled. So looking at the replay from that angle, but it's a shot for goal, and it's another blow landed by the Swans. They're coming thick and fast at the beginning of this second quarter. 7-3-45 to 3-5-23. I'll tell you what, this Sydney Swans team, as we've talked about, laden with young talent and just so exciting.
Yeah, I agree, Hutto. It's been amazing, really, just the accumulation of these youngsters, and they are using them brilliantly, but they are years ahead of where you'd expect. As I said, there's 11, 23 and under. Like, you put 3 years on this group, and Buddy will be still playing, probably not quite at his best, but...
and you've got Mills and Heaney now in the absolutely cherry ripe.
Yeah, at the start of the cherry ripe period. They've got 5 years, maybe longer at their best, but Mills is playing an amazing role right now.
Swans 3 in a row, a 22-point lead. Franklin back on the field, bounced in the middle. McLean wins the tap. Radagalia hunts the footy though. Kicks around the corner up to half forward. Dalhouse made a spoil. Stengel fumbled underneath. He turned tackler. I'm not sure Campbell had it. There was some high contact on Cunningham for the Swans.
It's just too tough for them at the present time. And they had a soft game last week, Geelong, and that can set you up for a bad one. But we're going to find out what they got right now, the Cats. Let's see if they can fight back, because they're getting a lesson.
Cunningham to Blakey to Campbell to Franklin. Up on the wing. Shows Dalhouse the footy. Kicks inside the 50. Radagalia saw it coming and takes the intercept mark.
Impressive Radagalia. He could be anything in this game. He's one of the real jewels yet to really emerge for Geelong.
He's just going to pump a ball near centre field. It went high enough. Paddy McCartan's there. Tom probably spoiled his brother. Franklin comes marauding through the pack. Hand passed it backwards. Parker had a fumble. Ball skews out the side. Goulden, hard body. Put it into Holmes, who stung from it. It ended up with Tui, though, so the Cats have it. Cameron Selwood tapped it over his head. Only as far as Campbell, who's wrapped up in the tackle. And Max Holmes is stung in the back play.
Smart play by the Cats here. I can't quite see who it was, but didn't take possession. He just knocked the ball on.
And it was Selwood who's after it again up at the 50. Arched the back, dropped to Pursuer, but then missed the kick. It was taken by Mills, who kicks down the wing. Blitzav's made a double-fisted spoil and gathered it himself. Hand pass to Kolajasny, who gives a bit of ground to Stewart. They're coming at him. Owen Stewart's gone over and left it behind. It's taken away by Hayward. The goal front is his, and he bounces it through for another. The Swans are unstoppable. It's an unflattering moment for Tom Stewart, one of the competition's premier defenders. The margin blows out to 28 in a storming hurry. 8-3 to 3-5 for Macca's 40-piece Chicken McNuggets pack.
This is impressive, isn't it? Sydney, they just look too good at the present time. They're tougher, they're more talented, and they're more skilled. And I love the use of the word marauding. I haven't seen a marauding Buddy Franklin before, and I thought it was really apt, but you're right. He just fumbled, then went to ground. And Hayward, well, he's backed himself in from 45, and that's fair enough. And he just split the middle.
We await the Cats' response. It's been rather muted so far. Radaglia got the tap. Parker couldn't get onto it. Big Radaglia overran it. Parker with one arm getting through Parfitt for the Cats. He maybe was interfered, and the advantage is going to be paid. Selwood to Atkins. He drives for Cameron, who's in front. Hard lead, so he couldn't hang on to the mark. Rowbottom got the spillage. Sent it across half back where Blakey's got a full head of steam. Streaming away. Franklin's about 35 metres ahead, but his sights were lowered, and he went instead for Errol Goulden, and the ball knocked out of bounds.
Well, the kid had lost his way 18 months ago, and now he's pushing up for All-Australian honours in the half-back flank over the next year or two. He's found his spot.
From the throw-in, knocked down Radaglia. Parker maybe taken high. Advantage will play on was the call. Parfitt and Cam Guthrie both there, but they watched as Rowbottom scrambled a kick that didn't go too far. Radaglia let the greasy ball behind. Rush kick Zach Guthrie. Gains 35 metres. It's coming back, although Campbell is hunted down brilliantly by Dalhouse. Just red hot. Holding the ball, free kick going the Cats' way.
And that's where I think it's unfair, this rule. I mean, he had no prior opportunity. The ball's knocked out in the tackle. Let's play on.
Dalhouse comes away. Kicks to even numbers ahead. Hawkins was a physical presence, didn't mark it. Parfitt squirts out the side. Close tried to link up by hand to Cameron. 3 Swans obstacles in the way. Close continued the hunt. Got the handball off to Dallas. They're giving up territory all the time. Cameron, an aggressive kick backwards. Mishandled by Atkins. He recovered splendidly though. Gave it a abuse. He ducked. He weaved. He got disorientated. He found himself again. Kicked it deep to half forward. Cats don't really have a flyer, but they've got the closest thing to it. And that's Brad Close, who takes the mark on the chest. The power of the long sleeves showing here, because he's the only one who's playing anywhere near his best for Geelong.
Yeah, he's been really good. He's been hard as Cat's head. He's running hard, and he's put his body on the line to take that mark. Good find, Close. Big year last year and started well this season.
Now, though, to try and finish the build-up from 40 metres out, it won't be easy. He doesn't get the angle right at all. Pushes it across the front of goal and through for a behind.
So Guthrie's had 7, Duncan's had 6, Tui's had 5, Parfitt's had 5. And I still keep going down to Paddy, who's had 2.
For safety, Steel Sheds. Margin is 27 points. Lloyd kicks it in long. Zach Guthrie disrupted the pack. Hayward and Rowbottom collided. It was a nasty collision too. The Guthries for the Cats probe it forward, but not terribly far, as Rampy takes the intercept mark. Rowbottom and Hayward have picked themselves up, headed to where the next contest will be. Down the wing, Stanley had first play. He dropped the mark. It took a bit of a turn. Franklin cleared the way with a heavy hip and shoulder. Open it up for Wicks. Kicks into centre field. Hickey's got support left and right. He uses Campbell. And then the overlap to Stevens, who gives it away to Hickey. Kicks into the pocket. Parker almost close made the spoil. He's working at both ends. And he averts the danger. It's out of play.
Yeah, that was poor play by Parker. He shouldn't have gone. In fact, it was Rowbottom, sorry. But Buddy once again imposing himself physically. Gee, is there going to be a response from Geelong here?
The Swans have it deep forward at the throw-in. Blitzarves and Hickey. Blitzarves knocks it down to the front. It trickles all the way near the boundary. Rowbottom arrives, took possession, couldn't create. It's back out of play. Chemist Warehouse, great savings every day. In Lahore, Pakistan 5 for 177.
Boundary umpire about to do his thing, much to the delight of the SCG crowd. Back in their favourite seats on a Friday night. From the throw, Hickey, a nonchalant little tap down, but there was some interference. And it's going Geelong's way this time. And it's hurt Mark Blitzarves, so he's coming from the ground straight away. We'll try and pick up what happened there. He's cradling his shoulder on the way out. It's either a finger or something more serious than that. Mitch Duncan, as a result, takes the free kick. And he spotted Stewart, but the problem was the kick was too strong. And it was out of bounds on the full now. But he's going to make his move. Mills tried to hook up with him from a long-range missile. It was well offline. And it slides over the boundary line and out of bounds.
Well, the doctor's talking to Blitzarves, pointing to his shoulder. Probably a subluxation, I suspect.
In layman's terms, Gerard, that's just...
Well, a partial dislocation. You could just see there. He had his shoulder in that hyperextended position and Hickey pushed the shoulder. And that has clearly just popped a little bit. Not dislocated, but certainly stretched the joint.
From the ball up, Rowbottom tried to make his move, left it behind. Colin Jasny back to the wing, though. Cunningham has his kick partially smothered. Loose ball gathered up by Atkins in a rush. He gets the handball to Tui, who turned sharply. Was going to handball, changed his mind, kicked into the middle. Hughes withstood the contact, took the mark, and head straight towards goal. McCartan had a partial intercept, gathered by Dalhouse, weaving Parfitt. Found his left boot, scrambled it brilliantly to goal. The Cats needed a little bit of that. And it's Brandon Parfitt that delivers off the left boot. 4-6-30. It stops a run of 4 Sydney goals. The Swans 8-3-51. The margin 21 points. It's all for the backers. 40-piece chicken McNugget pack.
And once again, another goal coming off that half back line. I think they've only had one goal from another source, 3 of them off the half-back line. The kick 4, gutsy one-on-one mark where the ball was a 50-50 split, and it was a mark taken by the Cats. That time the transition good, but Parfitt had to really make something out of nothing. Good smother by him initially. Cunningham again, just got to do a little bit more, a bit calmer in the crisis. Just trying to hurry a kick away has cost them another goal.
Parfitt with a nomination for the goal of the game. Host plus, that's a plus. Margin 21 points, Sydney's favourite, 22nd minute of the second term. Florent went into the middle, had first play. Heaney's going to drive them forward. Kicks inside 50, knocked away by Henry from Franklin, out toward the boundary. McDonald's in pursuit. He gathers the footy, but he's over the line.
Well, Chris got to be going through his numbers and he's saying, okay, who can we give a tick to? Well, I reckon Henry gets a tick. He's only had 1 goal against him. He's up against Buddy, but I'd say Blitzarves is done for the night.
Yeah. He's going to head for the rooms by the looks of it for Spitwater. Tough and ready. 50 out from the Swans goal. They tangled in the ruck. Stanley and Hickey. It's got to be one underneath. Holmes and Cam Guthrie committed themselves. Ball spits out the back. Atkins and Parfitt. Heaney has Parfitt, dragged him off his hand pass. Atkins driven out over the boundary by Goulden. Under the members' pavilion. And Blitzarves is on his way around to the visitors' rooms. The sub tonight is Quinton Narkle, so there's no like for like. At the throw-in, Stanley wins the tap. Holmes hacked it away. It's kicking in danger. Parker was coming in to commit himself to the contest, and Holmes just flung the boot in. Parker has a look. Franklin makes his lead. The kick goes deeper than that. McLean's the man back. Kolajasny filled the hole, but he dropped the mark, so the ball's in motion. McDonald squirts it out. Goulden played for the high contact, didn't get it off to Rowbottom. Hooks it at goal, and he hit the targets. The Swans conjure a goal, and it comes through James Rowbottom. 9-3-57, Geelong 4-6-30, 6.5 to go in the term on the Makita clock. Rule the outdoors with Makita.
And that is a goal that Hawthorn used to great effect, Richmond's used to great effect, and Melbourne too. Just get the ball in there, get the territory and just beat them at ground level. They're just tougher than the Cats at the present time. They've got so many talented ground level players. At Rowbottom, not super skilled, but he's a reliable player. McLean brought this ball to ground, and that's all he has to do. You don't have to be a superstar. Get it in the deck, because that's where their A-grade talent is. And he worked really hard. I'm not sure who that was to get it out to Goulden, Rowbottom, but Goulden, give him a big tick.
So back in the middle, back at you. So the Swans, and the umpire's going to have another go at that one. Rowbottom 7 disposals along with his goal. Buddy Franklin, if you just joined us, with one brilliant goal just before half-time. They were about to make the great charge out of the middle. Heaney was away, but the free kick had been deemed to the Cats, and Stanley bounds forward. A hand pass to Guthrie. He guides it for Ratugolea, who hugs in the chest mark. Beautiful delivery.
Well, he gets a tick. Not many out there get a tick at half-time from the coach, but Ratugolea is continuing to impress.
One thing he's got a long way to go on is he's kicking for goal, whether it be right in front or an uncertain looking approach here. He's going to take his very best. 50 metres out, it's off the instep, so it's no goal, at least not yet. Dangerfield flew, hit the ground, 3 Swans. They run the gauntlet. It's a bit of a standoff on the line. Lloyd was daring Smith to come. He didn't. They've made a hash of it. Stevens, a rush kick, is marked by Close. That was extraordinary. And John Longmire is doing very well to stay restrained in the box.
What's fascinating about what we just saw here, I mean, Jake Lloyd is a really experienced player. He's won plenty of best and fairest. He doesn't know the bloody rule. He is confused. Can he go over? Maybe not, maybe so.
Close from 30 metres out, as a result, makes him pay the price. And Geelong's 5th goal is registered. 5-6-36 to 9-3-57. Did he not know the rules, or was he being a smart
No, he didn't know the rule. Should I take it over? Am I under pressure? I mean, you just walked the ball over the line. There were 3 guys in the Geelong goal square. Take it over the line. Very difficult times down there in the defensive meeting. No one wants to give Lloyd a cook, but that's what they should be doing.
Isaac Smith just sort of outsmarted him. He went at him and then he cleverly pulled up, and he just caused him to second guess himself. But he was a foot from him.
Yeah. He's not having a great night, Jake Lloyd. He's been involved in 3 of the Cats' 5.
That's a remarkable replay for car sales, everything you ought to know. So 21 points again. 5 minutes to go. Dangerfield's had 2.
Warner up against him. 20-year-old versus one of the superstars of the comp. Here he goes.
So Selwood fed it to Dangerfield on the flow. Kicked to full forward. A few collapsed on the way. Cameron socketed off the turf. Close try. Oh, brilliant by Close.
Brilliant.
Who took the sliding shot against the post. Got it on the outside of the boot. Avoided the padding. The Socceroos needed that last night.
Desperately needed it.
2 in a row for Close, and the margin is back to 15 points.
They're just starting to creep back together in the contested possession department. They were 15 at one stage. It's now under 10. And that was a really good centre clearance. They got it to Dangerfield. It wasn't a pinpoint pass. It was just a territory kick. And this kid Close, I'm on his bandwagon. I reckon he's an absolute beauty. You have to think this through. Stanley gets it down. Smart play by the captain, and he gets it to Dangerfield. And once again, another mistake. Drop mark by the Swans. And well done, Smith and Close. Brilliant stuff.
A goal of the night for Host Plus. That's a plus.
Oh, that was brilliant.
Another poor bounce in the middle, and the umpire doesn't recall this one. Knocked down by Hickey, trying to break away Dangerfield. He got good help from the Guthrie brothers. A left foot kick from Zach. It's going to pitch on its end and almost got away from Buse. He tried to keep it in on the proverbial waiter's tray, and he's got a free, has he, for high contact. He's darn unlucky to get that. Must have been the slightest of contact against Heaney, who shakes his head in dismay. Buse wanted to play on now. He's got himself into all sorts of trouble. A desperate handball, just flings it forward. Holmes more of the same to Zach Guthrie. And then a clever touch out towards Cam, but Heaney was ready for it, and he allows himself to be tackled over the line. So they can all reset at half forward for Geelong. Left half forward, 4 minutes 23 remaining on the Makita clock. We're all the outdoors with Makita. 9-3-57, plays 6-6-42 From the throw-in, Stanley beaten by Hickey. Selwood couldn't get the greasy ball. Neither could Wicks the first time. Makes a better fist the second. Clever handball as he was flung. And the Sydney Blondes combine. Warner to Heaney. Now he's caught. No, he's legged.
Oh, well, it was Holt dropping the ball first, then leg, but a much better 5 minutes. They're giving themselves a chance here, the Cats.
Last 4 minutes, dubious handball to Wicks, but he made good of it by going short to Rowbottom. No, it's wide. It's out on the full, so the mistakes are creeping and the conditions are playing a part, there's no doubt, in some of the errors we've seen so far.
So the Cats across half back to Duncan, who's on a run. I'm not entirely sure he knew what his destination was when he took off. He finds Kolodjasny, who completes the switch to Henry under the members' pavilion.
And the Swans' pressure just dropping off at the present time, and the Cats are starting to run and find some space and hit some targets and wend their way into the forward line.
Duncan and Kolodjasny combining, and back to Duncan, who glides down the wing, kicks Geelong inside the 50. Dangerfield was held.
Yep. Hand went over the shoulder. Mills was back playing across that half back line. It's been a complete and utter destroyation in that one-on-one, but Paddy can just square the ledger up a little bit if he nails this. His field kicking so far this year has been superb. This will test him out. Shots a goal.
A set shot for the Victorian Farmers Federation. Keep your head in the zone. He'll kick from pretty well where the digits are painted on the arc. Right half forward. Dangerfield on approach, looking for 3 in a row for the Cats. He lets fly. It leaks across the face of goal and through for a behind. Margin is 14 points in the Swans' favour as we tick toward half-time. 2 minutes 45 left on the Makita Ruley Outdoors clock.
Responsibility will be Blakey. He has to go and retrieve the footy.
Well, it's normally a superb kick, Blakey, and he can take 15 metres with his pace. He very rarely gets run down. He's one of the quickest guys in the game.
Takes the most conservative of the options, goes short to Lloyd.
Not a big fan of that option. It just allows Geelong just to squeeze in even more. He's got the long kick to the other side of the ground, which probably gets now implemented, or are they just in junk time killing the clock?
Back into the goal square to Rampy, who could go short again to Lloyd if he chooses, into the other back pocket. No, he's coming this side with more length on the kick. Heaney and Franklin are there as the dual targets. There's a bit of interference. Advantage paid by Warner, who takes it and kicks it deep. McLean, the push and the shove. It's knocked away towards Kolodjasny, who gathered. He was facing back to defensive goal. He gave it to Stewart, who was going to have a shot. He was about to go around the chicane. Instead, he plays it back through Stanley, and it might hit some...
That's got to be play on in this game. If you feign a handball like that, it's got to be play on.
And up and under instead. Smith got it off to Zach Guthrie. To centre half forward for the Cats. Few claims in the air. No one could take the mark. Pivotal position on the ground of either side. Turns it over here. Holmes took way too long. And is that 50? I think it should be. Dangerfield kicked it away. The free kick could only have been one way. The umpire, though, had a different view. And so a minute 38 on the clock. It's going to come back to Mills.
14-point margin. Mills out across half-back for Cunningham. And he's got Stevens working for him. Hickey's on down the line under the Bill O'Reilly stands. He takes the mark. Franklin's the deepest target inside 50, but the ball is at least 2 kicks away. Hickey winds up on the left boot. He'll land it at half forward. Kolodjasny went the spoil instead of potentially taking the mark, and he's left it there for the Swans to pounce. Wicks has it, gives it to Goulden. Eyes deep. Franklin's in the square. Pulls the kick around the 50 instead. The initial spoil is made. Has to be dealt with again. Stevens to Wicks. Kicks for Franklin. 2 to beat. Flew knocked away from him. Underfoot. Heaney kicked the goal. Heaney's got 3 before half-time. Franklin drew the footy, drew the numbers, made the spoil, and the beneficiary was Heaney. The late goal goes the Swans' way and sets the margin at 20 points. 10-3-63 to Geelong 6-7-43. Heaney with 3 and Hayward with 2 have been the multiples. And Franklin kicked that 1 goal just before the quarter-time siren. A play of the day for Mildura. Looking for an exciting weekend trip away, visit mildura.com.au. The Cats had ambitions for that late goal, but it's the Swans that come up with it. And so after a flurry from the Cats, the Swans put an end to it. Stanley wins the tap in the centre. Ball still to be won. Hickey used the body well. Hand past a Rowbottom. Broke through the middle. Kicked it for Franklin. Couldn't get there. Just carried him and fell into the lap of Tom Stewart. He sags the kick out to the side for Henry. Henry's got College Asney 25 further afield, and he'll use him wide out against the boundary. Isaac Smith takes off to be the link in the chain. The kick was risky. It didn't reach him. Kennedy cuts it off. Looks inside 50. He kicked it up near McLean. Brought it to ground. Gathers. Hand pass to Warner. Cuts through the defenders. Hand pass. It's Heaney again. Isaac Heaney with 4. The Swans pile on a couple late. And they are going to take a substantial lead to the main break of 26 points. 11-3-69 to Geelong 6-7-43. Maximum damage inflicted in the final 2 minutes of the term. For the Maccas 40-piece chicken McNuggets pack scoreboard 11-3 to 6-7. And when they bounce it in the middle, the siren will sound. That's how tight the margins were at the end. What a figure Heaney is in prospect this season. 3 goals last week, 4 already tonight. The siren will sound as the bounce rises in the middle, and the locals will be well pleased. 11-3-69 Sydney to Geelong 6-7-43. Those 2 goals late, hugely significant in the flow of the game after the Cats had pegged the lead back to 14 points. Goal kickers to the main break. Heaney's booted 4, 2 for Hayward, singles to McLean, Rowbottom, Mills, Goulden and Franklin, while for the Cats 2 to Brad Close, singles to Tui, Parfitt, College Asney and Duncan. SCG half-time, Swans by 26. Jared Healy's thoughts during the main break for Shawl Unify, uniform experts. And we are keeping an eye on events in Lahore. Around the grounds for Chemist Warehouse, great savings every day. Pakistan 5 for 190. Pat Cummins, the most recent 2 wickets. I'll take you through that during the half-time break. The Swans down below us. Warm applause from the home fans to greet some scintillating footy. Friday night footy on AFL Nation. It's the Swans over the Cats by 26 points.
That quarter on AFL Nation was for McDonald's. Feed the whole team with Macca's 40-piece chicken McNuggets pack today.
At Underworks, we're experts in socks. We test our all-day socks for comfort with cushioned soles that stay comfy all day long. Test Underworks all-day socks for yourself. We're number one down under for socks.
Autobahn helps you get your road done right. Save $200 on a 6.2-inch Sony stereo with CarPlay, now just $399. And a Uniden UHF radio pack, just $224. Autobahn.
Top Gear, low prices.
Ride the Storm in 2022 because the Melbourne Storm are back home at Amy Park. Are you getting behind your Melbourne Storm this season? Don't miss a minute of the Storm blockbusters this season. Sign up to be a Melbourne Storm member and enjoy footy with the whole family. Ride the Storm in 2022. Become a member at melbournestorm.com.au or call 1300 Storms or get your game day tickets at Ticketek.
Installerine, Installerine, Installerine.
For the hottest of hot butter you've ever seen. Cream comes on steady, hot and strong. It just keeps on and on.
Want the assurance of an Aussie family-sized electric water heater with a 12-year cylinder warranty?
Installerine.
Installerine.
Installery.
Then accept nothing less than Australia's best.
Red Energy is the preferred energy supplier of the Formula One Heineken Australian Grand Prix 2022. To celebrate, Red's giving away a great Aussie holiday to the Red Centre, Northern Territory, valued at $12,000. Enter a few details at redenergy.com.au/Aussie holiday and agree to chat with us about our great value energy offers to go into the draw, so you and your family can re-energise with Red Energy. Residents of Vic, SA, New South Wales, ACT and South East Queensland, age 18 plus only. Competition ends 10th of the 4th, 22. Eligibility criteria and T's and C's apply. See redenergy.com.au/terms for full details.
Footy is made up by lots of bite-sized plays. A good pass here, a nice kick there, maybe snaffling possession. But adding up all of these bite-sized plays can get you big wins. It's the same with Snaffle. Get stuff you want now and pay it off with bite-sized payments. Now that's a huge win. Snaffle. Grab a Snaffle wallet today at snaffle.com.au.
Terms, conditions, fees, charges and lending criteria apply. Credit provided by Walker Stores Proprietary Limited. Australian Credit Licence 393023.
Did you know if you're sick or injured and cannot work, you may be able to access insurance through your superannuation, even if your claim has been previously rejected? Get the right advice. Talk to Shine Lawyers, the super claim experts. We offer no win, no fee. Conditions apply. Call Shine Lawyers today for a free super check on 131199 and let's right wrong.
Are you the fan who wishes footy was like it was in the old days? All the biff, the brawn, the head-high tackles, minus the ref's whistle. You are the traditional fan. And when you're at Schnitz, you're ordering the classic schnitzel recipe like original schnitzel and chips. A pan-cooked golden schnitzel with those seasoned crispy chips you can only find at Schnitz. You've got that winning taste now, right? Schnitz. Handcrafted schnitzels, made fresh, made just for you. Schnitz it your way this season.
Hi, Shane Heal here. Catch every game of the NBL live on ESPN with KO. This will be the biggest season yet with the return of NBA superstar Matthew Dellavedova. Even LeBron loves Delly.
I love Delly. What he brings to our team is just brings toughness and grit.
There's also NBA stars in the making with Osman Dieng and Kai Soto, 7-foot Chinese giant Joe Chi, and the LeBron of the NBL, Bryce Kopp.
Bryce Cotton won every single set.
The NBL is here. Watch every game live on ESPN with KO.
You're listening to the 2022 Premiership season on AFL Nation for Beaumont Tiles. For all your tiling needs, in stock now. At moments. Feed the whole team with Macca's 40-piece Chicken McNuggets pack today.
Past to Kolodjasny, who gives a bit of ground to Stewart. They're coming at him. And Stewart's gone over and left it behind. It's taken away by Hayward. The goal front is his. And he bounces it through for another. The Swans are unstoppable.
McCartan had a partial intercept, gathered by Dalhouse, weaving Parfitt, found his left boot, scrambled it brilliantly to goal. The Cats needed a little bit of that.
Brought it to ground, gathers, hand pass to Warner, cuts through the defenders, hand pass, it's Heaney again. Isaac Heaney with 4. Those highlights feed the whole team with Macca's 40-piece Chicken McNuggets pack today. Half-time Friday night footy at the SCG. It's the Swans 11-3-69 with a 26-point lead over Geelong, 6-7-43. It's the half-time floor show for Choices Flooring. Sale on now.
The Choices Flooring halftime floor show. Check out Choices Flooring's Room View program.
Choices Flooring are giving away the ultimate VIP Grand Final experience. You and a mate could experience all the hype of Grand Final week firsthand, then be at the big match itself, the 2022 Toyota AFL Grand Final. Head to iCanWin.com.au to enter the stats wrap for safety steel sheds designed to save, built to last. The overall disposal count, the Swans 178 to the Cats 164. The inside 50, Sydney 29-26. The hit-outs, the Cats 18-13. The clearances, Sydney 18-16. The centre clearances, Geelong 11-6. The contested possession, which Jared Healy's kept a close eye on, has been in the Swans' favour the whole way through, 66-54. The Swans have taken 10 more marks than the Cats, 51-41. The contested marks 3-1 in favour of Sydney, while the Cats have laid 30 tackles to the Swans 16. The free kick count, Sydney 15, Geelong 13. On an individual level, and this will give rise to the player power rankings, Red Energy is proudly Australian. Call their Aussie team today on 131-806. 131-806. Mills has had 16, Goulden 15, Warner 14 and Heaney 12. So 4 of the top 5 possession getters on the ground are Swans. Selwood leads the way for the Cats with 12. Stevens has had 11, and then Isaac, Smith, Collar, Jasny, Guthrie and Lloyd, as well as Close, have had 11 as well. The play of the day for Mildura Regional Development. Visit mildura.com.au. The bang-bang goals of Isaac Heaney at the end of the half. The first from a Franklin spoil. The second from a turnover when the Cats were trying to work their way down to the half-time bell. Sydney forced the turnover, and Isaac Heaney good enough to convert both of those chances. The Amy Clanger for good, who covers clangers Amy does. Well, the worst clanger of the night was Tom Stewart, one of the premier defenders in the competition, faced with 2-man pressure, just fell over and fumbled the footy and left it there for Hayward to bring great delight to the local fans. Player of the day so far for Whirlpool, designed for the environment. I would say Mills has had the job on Dangerfield and not only done it and kept Dangerfield to a handful. He's only had 5 to the main break, but Mills himself has had 16. So he's doing a stellar job, having been entrusted with the negating role, but also to create in the midfield. Paddy McCartan's first quarter was utterly exceptional. He intercepted everything in the first 25 minutes of the game, and Heaney, with 4 goals, is having a profound influence. The most improved player for Valvoline. Which oil keeps your business moving? You know, Valvoline. Well, I guess the two who signalled themselves last year, Chad Warner, who's playing his first game of the season tonight, and Errol Goulden, who was there last week, they have continued on as absolute drivers around the ball. They're both so good with their field kicking, but they are tough and hard as well. Goulden's hit into the body of Max Holmes left him crumpled in his wake. So those two stars who are lighting the way for the future are very much influential right now, Warner and Goulden. Valvoline, the original engine oil. Australian-made smart play. It's important to buy Australian right now. That's the Brad Close soccer goal. So Jeremy Cameron had kept the ball flowing toward the left-hand goalpost. He was either going to be a behind or hit the padding. Close, so clever in the slide across the slippery turf, and he almost got it with his studs and curled it around the post. It would have been exactly what the Socceroos were striving for last night. Instinctive, clever, the smart play. Support Aussie-made products. The injury update for victorsports.com.au. Mark Blitzavs looks to be out of the game with a shoulder injury. Maybe just a mild dislocation. Ruck contest, full stretch. Hickey makes contact with the arm and stretches the shoulder yet further. Much further than it should naturally go. Blitzavs came straight from the field, cradling his arm. He was taken around to the rooms. I wouldn't expect to see him. I guess they could strap it and jab it. I'm not sure that that really is the right course of action. Unmissable moments for Drinkwise. Choose to Drinkwise. Lance Franklin has kicked 1 goal. It was a beauty from the right forward pocket at the Randwick end. He took a mark. All of the fans, it seemed, around the ground, and certainly in this pocket, stood, raised their phones. There was a hush as he went to kick it, and then a roar as he curled it in quite superbly. And then Franklin flicks to the crowd. That was the first of the 4 that he needs tonight. He still has the 1 at half-time. The MEGT Rookie of the Day, MEGT, your local apprenticeship experts. Call 13MEGT today. So I'm not sure any of these technically qualify. Angus Sheldrick would. He's the medical sub, but he's not yet required into the game. So an inexperienced player who's going well is Dylan Stevens. High draft pick. He's in his 17th game tonight. He has had good moments for the Swans in the dozen or so possessions that he's had. MEGT, your local apprenticeship experts. Around the grounds for Chemist Warehouse, great savings every day. Huge interest in Lahore as Australia tries to win the third and deciding test against Pakistan. 5 for 190 at the tea break. So 2.5 hours to play. Pakistan needs 161 runs, and they still have Babar Azam out in the middle. He's 46 from 94 balls, and Sajid Khan 8 from 35. The damage in that session was primarily done by Pat Cummins late in it. Back-to-back LBWs, Fawad Alam for 11 and Mohammad Rizwan for a 6-ball duck, both the reverse swing LBWs to the captain. Prior to that, Nathan Lyon had picked out a couple of wickets, Imam ul Haq and Azhar Ali, and Abdullah Shafiq, the first wicket to fall. Cameron Green got him caught behind. So it's going the distance in Lahore. 5 for 190, 80 overs have been bowled in the Pakistan innings, so the new ball can be taken. And it's really when the new ball reverses that Australia's best chance to wipe out the tail might come. Cummins 2 for 23, Lyon 2 for 67, Green 1 for 18, Stark none for 27, Swepson none for 36, and Labuschagne none for 10 from the 2 overs that have been bowled. So a thriller coming up in Lahore. 5 for 190 Pakistan. They need 161 runs to win. Australia needs the last 5 wickets. Around the grounds for Chemist Warehouse, great savings every day. That's the tale at half-time at the SCG. It's the Swans 11-3-69, leading the Cats 6-7-43. The full thoughts of Gerard Healy and Anthony Hudson coming up next. This is the Halftime Floor Show, thanks to Choices Flooring.
A sports news update for Rolled. Eat good with Rolled. It's fast, fresh Vietnamese.
I'm Anna Pavlou with your sports news update for Rolled. First-year AFL player Oscar Adams has been suspended following an investigation into his car accident. The 18-year-old St Kilda ruckman key defender was over the legal blood alcohol limit when he crashed his vehicle on February 5. West Coast coach Adam Simpson has confirmed 12 players from last week's game will be unavailable for round 2 after entering the AFL's health and safety protocols, saying his club has been decimated by COVID. Lance Franklin is just 4 goals away from reaching goal 1,000 and could do so tonight against Geelong at the SCG. And in the NRL, Newcastle have ruled fullback Carlin Ponga out of Saturday's clash with reigning premiers Penrith. Ponga missed last week's victory over the West Tigers with a knee complaint and won't be risked this week.
A sports news update for Rolled. Fast, fresh Vietnamese. You're listening to the 2022 Premiership season on AFL Nation for Beaumont Tiles. For all your tiling needs, in stock now.
Mate, go and grab the drill. It's in the van.
Yep. Where is it?
Past the shelves and the generator.
Now where?
Keep walking till you reach the racks, then climb the ladder.
Got it.
If the Hyundai Staria Load had any more space, it'd come with a map. And now ABN holders can pick up all that space for $47,990 drive away. T's and C's apply. Visit Hyundai.com.au for details. Imagine that. Hyundai.
When you need the job done right, you want your pressure cleaner built like your team, tough and ready. Our brand new look Splitwater kicks the goals and gets the checkered flag every time by solving the problems the others can't. So when you're after the game changer, just reach for the tough and ready Splitwater pressure cleaner, made in Australia since 1982. Want to see the new Splitwater? Call 1-800-SPLITWATER now or go to splitwater.com.au.
This is the sound of Julian's bargain price vacuum with deep express suction. This is the sound of Julian trying to fix his bargain price vacuum, which infuriates him deeply. Yes, this is the sound of bargain regret. When it comes to the important stuff, like insurance, don't risk it. Go to Amy instead, who offers great value cover you won't regret. Amy does. Before buying insurance issued by AAI Limited Trading as Amy, read the PDS at amy.com.au. TMD also available.
If you are renovating a bathroom or kitchen, you need to listen to this. Your bathroom or kitchen reno just got a whole lot cheaper. Get to the Bathroom and Kitchen Liquidation Clearance Sale. Massive savings on your bathroom or kitchen with the lowest prices direct from the manufacturer on factory overruns, scratch and dent and discontinued lines of shower bases, shower niches, splashbacks, roof tiles and more. Clearance sale on now. 3 to 4 Industrial Way, Bayswater. Liquidationclearance.com.au.
Smeg double your cashback sale on now at Designer Appliances. Get up to $1,000 cash card plus up to $1,000 Visa gift card on selected Smeg appliances. Designer Appliances, Bendigo, Camberwell, Heidelberg, Rosebud and Wantirna South.
Can't get to see a Melbourne victory game this week?
Really just did! And what a massive goal it is for the Melbourne victory!
Never fear. Wherever you are, the SEN app delivers. Listen in via SEN Fanatic and catch every home and away game live.
R.J. Sanderson and Associates are accountants, taxation specialists and business mentors. To win a business mentoring program, go to rjsanderson.com.au. Take the stress out of tax. rjsanderson.com.au.
Hello home buyers, Greg Alexander here. Buying property is more competitive than ever. So if you're tired of missing out on the properties you want, take a new approach with UPIN. The UPIN property app gives you back the buying power. Pin the property you want and ensure you never miss out on knowing on when the property is listed for sale, be it privately or through an agent. UPIN Property is available online and via the app. Dream it, find it, UPIN it. UPIN Property. That's YOUPIN. UPIN.
Conserving water is so important. Nylex helps you do that with our range of grey and recycled water hoses and accessories. So don't just conserve like a Nile expert, water like a Nile expert. Nylex Recycled Watering Range. Available at Bunnings.
At Dometic, there's always time to escape to the outdoors, especially with the amazing 480ml Dometic Thermo bottle. This little beauty can go far and wide, any environment, any climate. Convenient to clean, comfortable to use, hot or cold drinks. When you have a thirst for adventure, Dometic Drinkware is designed tough to go anywhere with you. Dometic Outdoor. Go further, stay longer. Explore the full Dometic Drinkware range at Dometic.com.
You're listening to the 2022 Premiership season on AFL Nation for Beaumont Tiles. For all your tiling needs, in stock now.
CG, the opening bounce for Tyre Power, always win with the free 5-minute tyre safety check. Swans by 26, Jared Healy. It's a long way back for the Cats.
Yeah, they need to do something in and around the ball right now.
Radaglia wins the tap down to Dangerfield, who would have to lift substantially. High ball from Radaglia inside the 50. Stengel's been stone cold. He knocked it to ground. Campbell's taken in the tackle by Tui. It'll be balled up, 40 out from the Geelong goal.
So they won the centre clearance. They get it inside forward 50. Just got to be able to hunt a couple of goals here to get some pressure back on the Swans, because the last couple before half-time took all that away.
Hawkins swipes it with a left hand. Running on it with pace was Duncan. A handball to Tui. Going to ground. There's a free kick going Sydney's way to Kennedy.
Incorrect disposal, I think, from Duncan.
Okay.
Hutter.
So it's going.
Been red hot on it tonight, hotter than the first round.
Kennedy camped at full back. Goes short to Blakey. Still on that last line of defence, testing his skills. Campbell took the mark for the next iteration and then drives it up along the wing. Connor Jasny in front, out pointed by Hayward. Not paid by the umpire, but he brushes him aside, but didn't have enough leverage on the kick to bypass Cameron, who kicks crisply towards Hawkins, who flew against two.
Oh, great mark. It's a poor kick by Smith. He just basically kicked it straight to the youngster, Braden Campbell, who took a really good mark in front of the pack.
Who switches into the opposite back pocket, and they look to find their way forward through Cunningham, and now Blakey again. So they've had a lot of possessions in the defensive 50 for the Swans, so not a lot to show yet.
Notice they're bypassing Jake Lloyd just at the present time.
Across to Florett this time, who marks it left half back. 69 Sydney, 43 Geelong. Down the middle he was going to go. He just truncated the kick in the end. He went short to Blakey, who moved it immediately by hand to Mills, who has Hickey in mind. He's defied by Zach Guthrie, but the Swans have all the numbers. Wicks short to Goulden. At goal from 40. He tried to lead it like a golfer with a misfired tee shot. Put his head on his shoulder, but it didn't deviate. 11-4-70 on that behind to 6-7-43. Mate scoreboard, Australia's most satisfied internet customers.
Cats' pressure's got to go up. The Swans are giving them a chance, but the pressure's not good enough to turn it over.
Stewart pumped it in long. Paddy McCartan made the spoil. Hayward had the kick into the pocket for Heaney, but he missed him and he kicked it out on the full instead. He was rueful in the aftermath. Blitzavs is still in the game, so his shoulder has been strapped up for Spitwater rugged reliability, and he's been sent back out there at the start of the third term. 27-point margin. Tom Stewart with the restarts. Kicks it to a contest at half-back. Radagalia, strong hands.
She's an impressive unit. I know he's got to do more for you Geelong fans out there listening, but gee, he's coming.
Short to Dangerfield, who gets motoring. Rowbottom came, pushed him in the back, and he'll give away the free kick. He wasn't going to let Dangerfield pass, but he did give him a shove on the numbers.
Yeah, it's good chase, but good umpiring too. It was there, and they were all over it.
They reprise as he's off charging forward, kicking it deep towards centre half forward and beyond. McCartan had a punch and a miss, but he had good backup. Rampy off to Cunningham, onto the left boot, a bit of a slap bash kick. He was trying not to kick it out deliberately, but it's favoured Blitzarves as a result, who darts forward and guides to Hawkins, who lets it go on the call from Stengel.
I reckon you're a bit easy on Cunningham there. He should have come up the middle and hit the Swans' target. He went wide, went for the safe kick, and it's just come straight back over his head.
Now Stengel, 4 goals last week, hasn't been a factor tonight. He'll curl this across the body, just close enough to be able to do it, you'd fancy, off the left boot. It'll take his best from 30 metres out. It's struck very close to the goal post and it went on the near side. He shakes his head and walks away. 6'8", plays 11.470.
Scoreboard for Mate, Australia's most satisfied internet customers. Campbell's on the kick-in duty. He's gone the far side. He's kicked beyond the defensive 50. He's kicked it out on the full.
Well, if there's one area of concern for Sydney right now, it's those defensive kicks. They've been horrible, to be honest.
Isaac Smith with the resultant free kick. He has a look deep. He's going to put it right to the square. This didn't really give anybody a hope. And Hickey's there to thump it through for a rush behind. It's the apoplector. And it's a 25-point margin.
And this is the bloke to have the ball in hand, but take some ground, get it away, get the pressure off. And that is Blakey.
He adjusts the kick perfectly to centre half back where Parker posted up. Quickly had it in the arms of Florent, who kicks to centre half forward. Kolodjasny too late to spoil. And Hayden McLean is going to draw a free kick for some front-on contact.
So why anybody other than Blakey would kick the ball out for Sydney? Now that Jordan Dawson's playing for the Crows, and they learnt their lesson on the weekend, get him in the back half, not the middle, particularly when everyone else can't kick down there. You just got to get the ball in the best kickers, and it's not the blokes that have had it. It's Nick, the Lizard Blakey.
So Hayden McLean is going back a long way to set his sights on goal. He'll start inside the centre square. He'll kick from just inside the 50. Slight angle away to the right. He pulled up painfully sore as he misfired that, tugged it hard left, out of bounds on the full. Bit of a loser's leap, I think, as he walked away.
So no adjustment to the score, which stands at 25 points. Stewart brought it out beyond the defensive 50 for close.
It's going to come.
It's he must have played on out of play, and thus it will be a throw in.
Little correction after a blue in Adelaide last week.
So Stewart went back, crossed the boundary line, and then played on.
Yeah, went forward to the player.
Yep. So he didn't start outside the boundary. He went back over it in his endeavours. So a throw in. Swans inside 50. Blitzavs knocks it away from the danger area initially. Kennedy coming up, jarred from his grasp. Florida's there. Blitzavs sees it all the way over.
So there was a mistake made in Adelaide where a player went over the boundary line.
Is that the MCG, actually, I think?
MCG, okay.
Yeah.
Well, he went two ways, so there's no question that at coaching umpiring this week, that would have been looked at.
Sharpen up on that replay for car sales. Blitzavs hammers it Geelong's way. Cam Guthrie trying to get their Mills, had a hand in it as well, and Dangerfield the rest of the way over the boundary. But just going a few yards at a time in Geelong's favour. They're down by 25 points in the Mate Scoreboard, Australia's most satisfied internet customers.
Henry's on Buddy watch at the moment, about 30 metres out from Sydney's goal. He backpedals back to the square. Buddy, a quick kick out of there, and he'll be in the frame. And here it comes. Rowbottom, though, dribbled, lagged, almost bounced off the chest of Zach Toohey, who finally secured the merchandise at half-back. Then he runs away, a little short step, hesitates, and at the last minute he picked out Selwood, put it in front of him. He's going to be challenged by Blakey, went off the ground and pitches in the pocket, which I think is a pretty good result, and it's hard to penalise him for deliberate there.
Well, a lot of people in the crowd thought it was not enough intent.
The umpire says to the boundary, do your job and throw it in. 70 Sydney, 45 Geelong. Mate, Australia's most satisfied internet customers. Throw in. Hawkins, we know he's dangerous. He got the tap. Mills read it well. Pressure on Florence, so he got a hand pass to Rowbottom, bangs it up along the wing. Cats had the numbers, Buddy's leaked out the back just in case. It's still up for grabs. Good tackling from the Swans, and it'll be a ball up.
Franklin had absolutely the right idea if the Swans had been able to secure possession. Hickey took it out of the ruck. He hacks it high. Stewart flies against McLean. Cam Guthrie underneath wins it for the Cats. Selwood sweeping hand pass inboard to Smith, who works it around to Kolajasny. He's just kicked it straight to Mills. That's an awful turnover. And Amy Klanger inboard to Kennedy and back to Mills. Pokes it to Heaney. Up on the wing. Mills wanted it back. Heaney didn't give it. He has a look deep. He is going to kick it around the perimeter perfectly. Waited for Stevens, who couldn't help it. Mark Franklin wants it desperately. Dylan Stevens in his 17th game held his nerve and didn't give it to him. He wheels out and sends it to the teeth of goal, and it's well marked. The Swans ever so clever in how they set that up, and Hayward was able to drift in front of McLean and mark near the top of the square.
Well done to Stevens. He didn't fall for the give to Buddy, and he went back and made a really good decision. Swans opened it up, got guys running out, set up a bit of a space, and Hayward filled the space on the lead.
He's kicked 2 already, and he's close in for his 3rd. Jams it through. Will Hayward with 3, and the Swans get the first of the second half, and they bump the lead out to 31 points. 12-14-76 to 6-9-45 on the Mate scoreboard. Australia's most satisfied internet customers. Jared Healy for Shaw Unify. Unify your team.
Well, Swans well on top, but he's kicked 1 goal, and it's just amazing looking at how few opportunities Buddy's had to get involved in the play. Swans are coming through the middle of the ground with 30-metre kicks, almost maximum. And Buddy, by the time it gets to the forward 50, enough blokes have piled down in front of Buddy that he's just not an option to go to. So he then takes a lead, he creates a hole, and in comes Hayward to fill that hole. So they've got an issue, the Cats there, still Buddy-centric, and other guys are killing them.
Another shocking bounce in the middle. It's going to have to be recalled by the umpire.
So the question is, where can the Cats get back into this game? Well, it's got to start just at winning the ball and getting some forward entries.
Stanley v Hickey. The tap could have gone anywhere. Florent with the soccer tactics, effective enough. Put it into Sydney's half, and then a good push from Dylan Stevens on Tui. Bit of an imaginative handball, and Florent good enough to win it and almost link up with Parker, who's under immediate pressure, but he withstood the tackle enough to fling it away by hand. Selwood's going to wear a push in the back and get the free, much to the disappointment and the groans you can hear echo around the SCG. They're having quite a night, the Sydney fans. Back for the first time in 9 months. And at centre half forward, the ball fell through the hands of Kennedy. And an opportunity for Hawkins has missed as well. He sits on the ball. He could be in trouble. No. Ball up.
Well, he missed that one, Kennedy, but he's had a really good game across that half-back line. Just seems to have settled after a bit of a nervous one last week.
Tap down to Duncan was effective for the Cats. The flip hand pass is Dullhouse. Too far out to score. He went short to Cameron, who was checked illegally, according to the umpire, by Rampy.
Well, if there's any criticism of the Swans, it would be the hit-outs to disadvantage. And I mean, everyone clearly is looking where Hickey does it. There's a replay of that penalty, and I think it was a bit generous.
Yeah, it was ball first, and then his arm dragged to the shoulder, but so what? Yeah, I agree. Well, Cameron's had some luck. Can he ride it? He gets close to the man on the mark, and his kick is falling across for another behind of the Cats, who have been wayward. That's been part of their problem tonight, reflected on the scoreboard. 6-10-46. 5 goals adrift of the Swans, who are 12-4-76. Our experts for Shaw Unify. Unify your team.
Well, the biggest issue is accuracy, contested ball and accuracy. They're starting to fix up their contested ball, but you're not going to win unless they get a much better return.
Lloyd in long to Heaney, who takes a very fine mark in front of Buse. And Dooley gives it back. So Lloyd has the ball at half-back. Didn't take any territory on this occasion as he kicked it to Florence, to Tom McCartan, and then out the far side for Rampy, who's set up. Blakey's rushed ahead of the mark. Oh, a shocking kick inboard, goes straight to Dalhouse. Cats on the counter-attack. Hand pass to Cameron. Kicks inside 50 over the top of Duncan. Not adequately dealt with in the initial instance by Lloyd, but it's tidied up. And Stevens gives it to Paddy McCartan, who kicks it against the boundary. Cats get numbers to it. Parfitt gathers the ground ball, sets it in the Toohey direction, worked underneath it. Campbell was pretty haphazard at the contest. Duncan feeds it out wide to Cameron, who probes the kick into the pocket. And Close, who's been Geelong's best avenue to goal, can go back and take a difficult set shot.
Well, right now it's T. McCartan on T. Hawkins. And he's... would have been a bit miffed he wasn't the receiver of that kick from the Cats.
Brad Close opens up the angle and kicks his third. He's had a terrific night. Clearly Geelong's best. Lively around goal, getting them in all different ways. He surely has the goal of the night for host plus. That's a plus, and he pegs one back. 24-point margin on the Mate Scoreboard, Australia's most satisfied internet customers. 7-10-52 chasing the Swans. 12-4-76 halfway through the third term on the Makita Rule the Outdoors clock.
And Pakistan 5 for 2-1-2 for Chemist Warehouse. Great savings every day.
Yeah, you have to take your hat off to Close. He's keeping the Cats in it at this stage. He's just an improver. Year on year, he's continued to improve, particularly last year, and he's had a great start to the season so far. 12 disposals, 4 tackles, 3 marks inside forward 50, and he's kicked 3 goals, 1.
24 points, Makita clock, halfway through this third term. Rule the Outdoors with Makita. Another bad bounce, and they might just have to throw it up in the middle, the way they're going. Throws it up this time, and Stanley got the tap. Parfitt couldn't escape cleanly, and it bobbles around for a while. Hickey edges the kick forward. Franklin's in the frame, off the chest, no! Whacked away by Blitzarves, who's caught. Just hacks the handball away in the nick of time. Clearing kick by Zach Guthrie, 1v1. Campbell v Close. He's having quite the night. Wins it immediately. A hand pass to Dalhouse, who does no good for his captain with a chip kick, but Selwood, as courageous as ever, stood his ground, took the mark. Odd-looking kick back through the centre, taken by Isaac Smith, just outside his range. Short to Stanley from 50 as just places it into the square. It was neither a shot or really a help to any of his teammates. Some of their ball movement and their entries into the 50 have just been like that, just a bit odd, a bit of nothing. 7-11-53 with a rush behind, plays 12-4-76.
Kick in, finds Blakey, who bounces through the defensive 50, goes long down the wing, over the top of Hayward. Here's Franklin, up at left half forward. He's got Stewart against him. Stewart brought him to ground. Umpire said it was okay. Crowd howls for high contact or holding the man or anything just to get him another shot at goal. The replay for Carsales show the tackle end up over the shoulder. 55 out from the Sydney goal. Shallow throw in, lands in front of the 2 ruckmen. Holmes coughed it up to Parker, danced through the pack, kicks it to the top of the square. Franklin set himself. Henry reached in, made the spoil. Franklin's got it. Henry pushes him away from goal. Franklin paddled it up to Warner.
Oh,
throw, was it? Oh, it's a Franklin free kick.
I thought he paid a throw for the double-handed tap. Wasn't a tap, but didn't see the Buddy Franklin one.
So the previous for over the shoulder wasn't paid. A mad scramble. Henry laid the tackle on Franklin, and then Henry fell over the top of him and landed in his back in a scrambled piece of play. A goal in the first term, lining up on the opposite side in the third. All eyes to Buddy Franklin, kicking for his second tonight. Yes! 2 down, 2 to go. 9.98 up for Buddy. A little helping hand. If the Swans are able to push away and have this well won, this is very much in the frame tonight.
No doubt.
13-4-82, Geelong 7-11-53.
Well, the weather gods have certainly want to see Buddy. The forecast torrential rain. The horrendous conditions just haven't shown up. And I've never seen a free kick paid like that before, so that is a fortunate one. Nice contribution there from the umpires. Don't think Chris got to be overly pleased with it. But he's 2 away from the big moment. The crowd's here, Buddy's here, game's alive. They're only a goal or so away from breaking it open.
Yeah. If you're having a quiet Friday night, you fancy a run on the SCG, I'd get here.
Yeah.
I'd get here in the next 20 minutes. Barbara's arms out. Nathan Lyon got him, 6 down.
Centre bounce, great connection between Stanley and Dangerfield. But again, the final touch was poor. This time McCartan either deliberately or accidentally knocked it through for a behind. Either way, he had it covered.
You're not a big fan of that one. You just take the mark. He was there, no pressure. Clearly the Pakistanis want to get into the sheds
Yes.
and tune in and see Buddy kick the 1,000.
Kick in came the way of Warner, who sends it down the broadcast wing. Stanley, though, repelled for the Cats and bangs it straight back inside. Hawkins has got the field against him. Underneath, Parfitt one way, Tom McCartan the other. Cameron, the third man in, off to Dalhouse, gives ground to Atkins. He'll hook it on the left boot, hang it high inside the 50. Close ended up being the flyer. Underneath, Florent ran into Holmes, took him to ground and over the boundary. Throw it in 40 around from the Geelong goal.
Here come the security guards.
Yeah, they're sensing it. Time to ring the fence.
Yeah, a bit early. Body language Geelong just starting to drop off a little bit. You want to see them aggressive. You want to see them, still chatting and talking to each other and geeing each other up. It's going to take a huge effort from here.
Close is doing his best work tonight, but he couldn't handle that one. Lloyd gets a rush kick. It'll clear the defensive 50. Heaney, it came off the head, and it's a free kick. And Franklin took the advantage.
He did.
But now it's coming back because he couldn't take the advantage.
Well, it's a double lick of the ice cream.
Yep.
I'm not a fan of that. You pay advantage. The umpire makes a blue. You've got to accept that you've made a blue and give that ball to Geelong.
Well, it's the player that makes the blue, really, isn't it?
Well,
Because
Buddy took the advantage,
that's right.
and he shouldn't have. So the umpire should have just said,
Yep.
OK, move on.
Heaney moves it on. Back to Lloyd, who's bouncing his way out of defence. Franklin is trailing back to the goal square now. He's 2 kicks away from where the action is. As Cunningham plays it wide. 2 goals is all he needs. Dylan Stevens. But he's got Kolajasny as his direct opponent. So he's going to have a chance here. The kick from Stevens will go up, but he goes to ground. Get up, Bud! It goes to McLean. He almost took the mark. 30 metres out from goal. Franklin on the outskirts of the pack. It goes Geelong's way. Dalhouse back through the traffic and the trouble. A hand pass to Kolajasny. Ekes the kick out. Kennedy's going to mark it. Just on
Buddy.
the edge
Buddy's
of-
long. Buddy is long.
And he's one-on-one with Blitzarves. Kennedy decides to take the seconds on offer and at least suggest he's going to have a shot. He's not. He brings it back to Lloyd, but he's zigging and zagging. Blitzarves lost him in traffic, but he wants it at the top of the square. What Buddy wants.
Look at them all around
Buddy doesn't get this. 5 Cats, just a human wall.
It was a catastrophe with sure. I mean, Buddy's just got to get on the charge. He's got to make himself a rover. Don't be the target. You're not going to in that position. They are just flocking there. Clearly Chris Scott doesn't want his 1,000th goal kicked against the Cats.
Right forward pocket for the Swans at the throw in. Blitzarves does the ruck work, pushes it away from goal back toward the boundary, and it'll go all the way over. Stark's got Sajid Khan, so 7 down. 7 for 213. Australia closing in on victory in Lahore. Around the grounds for Chemist Warehouse. Great savings every day. In the match here, it's the Swans by 28 and attacking. Blitzarves punches it down. Taken by Parfitt. Hand pass to Close. He will will stay out wide with the kick at least. Cameron plays Rovers, stands in the tackle, released it to Dalhouse, gives it to Dangerfield. Hacks the ball high toward the 50. Stanley went one-handed. Lloyd did the roving in defence to Cunningham. And then to Stevens, who dragged it down the line. Radaglia came straight from the bench into the action and takes the mark. Spitwater, rugged reliability.
Off to Dangerfield. He kicks off the left. Numbers are with the Swans. Stengel flew at the front. It bounced back though to Parfitt. Left foot kick. It pitched on the way. Ends in the pocket close to the line. Hawkins tried the soccer. Stengel with 2 hands. Got the handball to Smith. He's got company immediately. Couldn't get enough on it. And the Swans are going to run it out of there. Campbell with that powerful left boot. Where's Buddy? He's in the middle of the ground. It's fisted away. He's on the charge forward now, Buddy. Kolodjasny with him. The ball back in the middle of the ground. Here we go. He wasn't ready for it. Little kick out wide from Warner, met by Stewart. Disrupted in the tackle the first time. He got good help. Kolodjasny calls on Henry. And now Selwood back through the middle. That's a better kick. Guthrie wants more on the other side. There's nothing there for him.
I'd give Buddy a rest. I reckon he's worked his way. He's worked too hard. You don't want to do a soft tissue injury.
He's coming off as Stewart kicks it in front of Atkins. He'll run onto this on the 50, running away from goal and not far enough for the Hawkins mark. Atkins followed it up, got through the tackle. Cats needed something, and Tom Atkins has given them plenty with that goal. It was not pretty. It wasn't part of the plan, but it gets them the goal. It gets them back in the game. 22 points the difference now. 13-4-82 Sydney plays 8-12-60 Geelong. Under 5 minutes in this third term remaining on the Makita clock. Ruley outdoors with Makita. Round the grounds. It's Robbo at the park. Pakistan 7 for 213 for Chemist Warehouse. Great savings every day.
Well done to Tom Atkins. He really busted his gut to get involved there. It was a multiple effort goal. He was involved a few times and he's spent at the present time. But once again, the kick to Big Tom Hawkins, it only went about 8 metres. I'm not sure why anybody ever indulges in those, but Atkins worked really hard to do the boomerang and keeps them in it. Another goal here, they're right in it.
Tough stuff for Hard Yakka, legendary gear. In the middle, Hickey brought it down. Underfoot, Hickey ended up with a hand pass picked off by Dangerfield, down in the tackle by Heaney. Mills gets hold of it. Blakey steps out of trouble at centre half back and bounces it to centre half forward. Atkins committed the body. Still some work to be done. Warner hand passes it into open play. Florent goes to ground, feeds it up to Goulden, backwards to McLean. Probed the kick ever so cleverly to Parker, touched off the boot. Had to get rid of it in a hurry. Tui went in hard. Stanley had a go and Tui wore the high contact.
He's a bit lucky there, Tui.
No doubt. It was completely self-propelled.
Yeah, and he also went to the ground and took the knees. I mean, it wasn't vicious, but he was lucky.
Crucial moment for New Farm, Australian through and through.
Stewart received the short. Oh, he's darting, uncertain where to head next. Radically the logical long target, or Zach Guthrie for some of the shorter stuff. He chooses the latter option. 13-4-82 plays 8-12-60. Guthrie runs around, kicks now to Radically down the line. He gets in front, he can't grasp the mark. McCartan did well. Stengel, though, found Parfitt, who could only edge a little dribble kick, and it goes over the chalk. What a night to be at the SCG. You can feel the love out there. Big crowd packed in. Ended up being a beautiful night. And the home team have returned in fine style. Throw in to take place on the wing. Now, Ruckman lock arms, Stanley the tap. Dangerfield is the threat at the moment, but he's dragging 3 Swans on his back. He didn't get given the push in the back that time. And we'll have a ball up. He does appear to have tried to take this on himself a little, Dangerfield.
Well, they're down in a lot of good areas, and one of them's clearances around the ground. They're getting smacked at the present time.
Stanley finds him again with a hand pass this time. He defers back to Tui, who places it for Stengel, or in fact it was Dalhouse. He was crowded out and the ball dribbles back over the line and out of bounds. The Cats, though, have a bit of territory and can work with a throw in left forward pocket.
All the numbers for Safety Steel Sheds. 22 points. Can Geelong conjure the next goal? Boundary thrown again, well short of the ruckman. Tom McCartan knocked it clear. Tui got taken with the footy, and I don't think he disposed of it illegally, holding the ball. So the Swans will bring it out quickly enough. Blakey takes the mark. He runs at Duncan and then releases the hand pass to Hickey and off to Kennedy. Got the kick away in the nick of time as Parfitt closed, and wasn't it a kick to McLean? Out wide at right half forward.
Had a big game, Kennedy. Across half back. He's won it back and he's delivered, created, been brilliant.
Buddy back on.
McLean is going to set it up deep in the Heaney direction. Filling the hole was Stanley. He got filled as he tried to take the intercept mark. Tui against the boundary. Rode the tackle. Gives it away to Blitzovs. Kicks in a hurry. Stengel waited for it. Cunningham committed, made the spoil. Blakey kicks to open space. The Swans have numbers at the perimeter of the 50. Parker fumbles, has to go back and get it. Short kick, Franklin! just back from the bench, standing in the hole, takes the mark 50 out directly in front.
It was a brilliant kick by Parker. He saw Buddy on his own. Buddy has always been a chest marker. He would never go out and take it in his hands, and it cost him one earlier in the night. But this is just, well, it should be like shelling peas, but when you're on 998 and going for 1,000, every kick has a lot more on it. So can't write this down, but Buddy should just sail this through post height.
Buddy Franklin winds up from centre half forward. He lashed it. He's striking them pure. And he moves to the cusp of the milestone. That's as good as you can kick the footy. What a powerful demonstration. A wave to the crowd. They're all here for him. And they will surely now see it tonight.
It's going to be a dry spell if he doesn't get it, but I thought there was something in the fact that the Swans can learn from that. He came off the bench. He wasn't deep in the goal square. He came off the bench. He found some space, and they're all now ready for the big moment, including Buddy himself.
999. There's a minute 28 left in the third term. Oh, incidentally, the score, the Swans lead by 28 points, 14-4-88. Geelong 8-12-60. A Bendix breaks, big moment. Confidence stopping Bendix breaks.
Well, he's in the goal square now, big bud.
Minute 28, could this be it? Out of the middle, it's rushed forward by Parker. Franklin can't take the mark. It's knocked away. Picked up by McDonald. The hand pass comes back to Franklin. He's got through 3. He's got through 4. Oh, the kick fell short at the top of the square. Damn you, bud. Oh, but brilliant Heaney. The generation of brilliance has passed from Franklin to Heaney. He's kicked his 5th. Extraordinary goal. His ball handling was amazing. And the Swans have blown this game to the Scheisenhausen. Fantastic goal. 34 points the difference with a minute to go.
Well, Hutto, I'm glad to see you're keeping a lid on it, which is excellent. And good work on the umpire. I reckon there was a push in the back there to Buddy, but no one wanted the 1,000th goal play from a controversial free kick. So we're on Buddy watch.
Oh, we're on alert, aren't we?
We are on full alert. A quick kick out of the centre. There's Buddy. It could have been the most magical goal. Yeah. He just couldn't quite get enough on it. But he beat 3. It was actually a goal assist. I'm not sure how many of those he's had. Certainly not that many deliberately. But that was a brilliant goal by Heaney, who, by the way, has kicked 5.
Yes, the replay for car sales, everything you ought to know. Back in the middle, Hickey wins the tap. Stanley, though, hunts the footy. Hand pass to Dangerfield. Has a look deep. Radigali is the target at the top of the square. Both McCartans against him, and they're able to smash it away and through for a rushed behind. 5 rushed behinds conceded by the Swans. They lead it by 33 points on the Mate scoreboard, Australia's most satisfied internet customers.
Another hint of a chant for Buddy around the ground. 45 seconds remaining in this third term. Of course, he wants to do it in the final quarter. Driving kick in. Maybe there's still time. Heaney's kick is partially shut down. That's a throw, a scoop. Not paid. Comes to Parford, who wore the contact, knowing he could release it. Atkins' kick straddles the line and fortuitously lands just inside the field of play and then goes out.
Well, it would be actually ideal if he kicked it in the next 20 seconds. Yes. We could have a bit of a break, go to three-quarter time and get stuck back right into it.
Jack Henry shaping as being that guy from the throw in. Poked away towards Kennedy, upended in the tackle. Flung out to Florent. Here's Parfitt charging through, but couldn't take the Sharon with him. Security guards, they're ready.
What are they actually doing, the security guards, you think, Hutto?
They're going to surround him.
Okay, righto. Well, that'll work.
Just take that in as the footy in motion for the Cats at centre-half forward. Buse claimed, should have been penalised. Against the clock, it's a loose ball and the siren sounds. It was a blitz in the end. Buddy's on the edge, he's one away. Heaney's kick 5. The Swans in control. It's the most perfect night. 15-4-94 Sydney, 8-13-61. Heaney 5, Hayward and Franklin 3. Close has 3 for the Cats. The Aussies on the edge of victory in Pakistan. Pakistan 7 for 2-1-3 at last count for Chemist Warehouse. It's all on the Mate Internet and Mobile Scoreboard. Award-winning Aussie service mobile plans from $20.
That quarter on AFL Nation was for Mate Internet and Mobile, Australia's most satisfied NBN customers. Internet from $59.
This is the sound of Julian's bargain price vacuum with deep express suction. This is the sound of Julian trying to fix his bargain price vacuum, which infuriates him deeply. Yes, this is the sound of bargain regret. When it comes to the important stuff, like insurance, don't risk it. Go to Amy instead, who offers great value cover you won't regret. Amy does. Before buying insurance issued by AAI Limited trading as Amy, read the PDS at amy.com.au. TMD also available.
Hi, I'm Jared McGovern from O'Brien Real Estate Langwarren. Find your place with O'Brien. Visit our website to explore any suburbs across Australia with our free suburb reports.
O'BrienRealEstate.com.au. The difference is our people and local knowledge.
When my mates bring their plus ones, who bring their plus ones, we're gonna need more McNugs delivered. McDelivery!
Get dinner delivered with the 40 chicken McNugget pack and new spicy sticky barbecue sauce from Macca's. McDelivery available at select locations.
Red Energy is the preferred energy supplier of the Formula One Heineken Australian Grand Prix 2022. To celebrate, Red's giving away a great Aussie holiday to the Red Centre, Northern Territory, valued at $12,000. Enter a few details at redenergy.com.au/Aussie holiday and agree to chat with us about our great value energy offers to go into the draw, so you and your family can re-energise with Red Energy. Residents of Vic, SA, New South Wales, ACT and South East Queensland, age 18 plus only. Competition ends 10th of the 4th, 22. Eligibility criteria and T's and C's apply. See redenergy.com.au/terms for full details.
When you need the job done right, you want your pressure cleaner built like your team, tough and ready. Our brand new look Splitwater kicks the goals and gets the checkered flag every time by solving the problems the others can't. So when you're after the game changer, just reach for the tough and ready Splitwater pressure cleaner, made in Australia since 1982. Want to see the new Splitwater? Call 1-800-SPLITWATER now or go to splitwater.com.au.
There's claims out there about every golf ball on the shelf. So we won't claim that TaylorMade's TP5 is the #1 golf ball, because the TP5 beats it. Used by leading players like Rory McIlroy, Dustin Johnson and more, the TP5 features 5-layer technology for better distance, feel and spin. Don't use the #1 golf ball. Tee off with the ball that beats it. Find the TaylorMade TP5 golf ball at your local pro shop.
Country racing, here's why we do it.
We do it for the 2022 Tab Warrnambool May Racing Carnival. Witness history made as we celebrate the 150th anniversary of the Grand Annual Steeplechase.
I can feel this day, I can see this day, we're racing strong.
GA $25. Great hospitality packages available, plus fashions on the field on the Thursday. It's a grand 150 years in the making. Book now at country.racing.com/Warrnambool.
G'day, Thomas Randall here from Castrol Racing. My Mustang's tearing up the mountain, unlocking over 600 horses. You just don't want to get this wrong. That's why we need to get the technical stuff right, using an engine oil that unlocks more power from the same fuel, whether you're heading to work or going around Bathurst. Castrol Edge unlocks the very edge of performance.
Looking to buy a new SUV or ute? Then get more at Astoria GWM Haval in East Bentley. More in a Cannon dual cab diesel auto ute from only $34,990 drive away. More in a Haval Jolion premium SUV from only $27,490 drive away. And more with 7 years warranty and 7 years roadside assist. Plus get more for your trade-in. Go with more at Astoria GWM Haval, LNCT 10901. Check our website.
You're listening to the 2022 Premiership season on AFL Nation for Beaumont Tiles. For all your tiling needs, in stock now. Love it at moments. Feed the whole team with Macca's 40-piece Chicken McNuggets pack today.
All eyes to Buddy Franklin. Yes! 2 down. 2 to go. 9.98 up for Buddy.
Atkins followed it up, got through the tackle, Cats needed something, and Tom Atkins has given them plenty with that goal.
Parker fumbles, has to go back and get it. Short kick, Franklin! Just back from the bench, standing in the hole. Buddy Franklin winds up from centre half forward. He lashed it! He's striking them pure! And he moves to the cusp of the milestone. Franklin's on 9.99 as we enter the final term. Feed the whole team with Macca's 40-piece Chicken McNuggets pack today. The Swans by 33, Jared Healy. What do you reckon? It's been very impressive from the home side.
Well, I don't think anybody foresaw this 18 months ago or 16 months ago when the Swans were out of the 8 and struggling. Kids coming through, Buddy hanging on, and here we are, the Swans putting one of the fancies after last week to the sword and doing it with a side of basically youngsters. It's an incredibly impressive performance, and history would appear as if it's about to be made.
Swans kicking to the Paddington end in the final term. Opening bounce for Tyre Power. Kicking goals with 25% off Kumo tyres. Hickey down to Warner, out of the middle. Bounces and it's cut off well by Abuse. Yes, it came the way of Seward, who was behind Blake, and he took hold.
He's just struggling for pace at the present time, the legendary leader. Grabbed hold of Blakey, took him to the deck, and this bloke, he is going to be guarded closely, I reckon, by clubs as this season unfolds.
He kicks wide to the boundary where the mark is taken by Campbell. He dinks it onto Mills,
who's having another enormous game, one of the better games I've seen him play.
He's right there in the player of the day for Whirlpool, Kitchen and Laundry Appliances, short to Hayward. So slow play at the start of the final term from the Swans as they look to build the ball around the wing. Franklin's on the lead. The kick is going to go over his head. It was poorly placed, and Henry dives in and takes the intercept mark.
Cats spread, but he's going to have to go sideways to find a teammate, and that's Blitzarves, who kicks to an obvious target. Shaking loose is Zach Tui to half-back. So far so good on this build. The hard-running Smith marked, and those only one way. Runs, but his kick's going to lag short, and McCartan won't take a much easier mark than that.
There's been a lot of impressive players on the ground today, and McCartan's pretty close to the top of that list.
Paddy McCartan, another intercept. Pakistan have lost it. Hassan Ali, bold line. They're 8 for 226 in the cricket for Chemist Warehouse.
So what comes first, Hutto, an historic win in Pakistan or Buddy's historic thousands? It's a night of history.
Yes, I'll go with Bud. Kennedy has marked it right half back. Just tosses the kick up to the wing. And, Henry got to the right spot and then properly dropped the mark. Goulden handballed in hope. It went to Rowbottom. He's weaved his way through. Kicks up into the 50. One-on-one. It's not Buddy. Stewart knocks it away from McDonald. Hickey got charged down by Stewart. Claimed and eventually caught. It was the longest wait for the umpire to blow the whistle. It's holding the ball. It's 94 the Swans, 61 the Cats.
You were stiff there, Hutto. If Hickey had been just slightly more gifted, he would have bounced off. Handball received the Buddy. You would have been calling it.
Stewart out of the defensive setup for the Cats. Radigali is his target. Blakey over the top to spoil. Cam Guthrie hand passes to Selwood. He guides it onto the chest of Cameron. He's at centre half forwards. Tom Hawkins the deep target, but he's going to have plenty of company if the kick comes in long now. So Cameron backs away and contemplates reprising the deeds of Buddy Franklin in the third term. No, he doesn't. He waited, and Duncan ended up unattended, closer to goal. And we know that he can kick it this distance.
Just got a text message from an old mate of mine, said, see you in the centre square in 5 minutes.
Mitch Duncan.
What's Diesel doing, I think?
No, Diesel's actually... he's not quite aligned at the present time.
Duncan from 50 leans back on it and pushes it right across the face of goal. In fact, he misses the lock. It's out on the full. It stays 33 points on the Tyre Power, your trusted tyre expert scoreboard.
Back into play to Blakey via Hickey. He legs it out of there. A bounce and then over to Warner and then over to Mills. This is all by hand. They're right against the boundary, but it doesn't matter. It opens up for Heaney. And played it back to Hickey instead of going down the line to Franklin. I reckon they can get cleanly out the other side, and you know what they can. And Buddy's way back in the goal square. The footy's at right half back. Kennedy a little fumble, which slowed the progress. He got good help, though, from Cunningham. So he gathers himself, Kennedy. And that seemed to come a bit off the instep. Well picked up, though, by McLean. A hand pass to Heaney and no further. He's taken down in a prolonged tackle. And once again, it's a holding the ball free kick going Geelong's way to Buse, who leans forward. Oh, kick back to Kolodjasny. Wasn't expecting it. But he's on his own. Surely they can engineer this. Hayward into the goal square. Will he? No. He was betwixt and between Hayward and his kick. He could have gone straight to Buddy. He tried to put it in a path to goal instead. Behind.
Yes, if you had 10 goes at that, he'd kick it. They'd get it to him 9 times. It's not to be. Henry and Zach Guthrie out to Blitzarves around the wing. Hand pass to Cam Guthrie, who kicks the Cats wide to half forward for Dalhouse. The crowd is only interested in one eventuality. The ball's at the other end. Radicalier against 2. Made a good fist of almost taking the mark. Dangerfield paddled it out. Stengel runs into a tackle. He's able to release the footy. Isaac Smith socketed it off the ground and he kicked it out on the full. So the Swans with a chance to build out of the back pockets.
Dane Rampy considers all the options and takes the most logical one down the line, but kick was a bit too strong for his teammates. And Blitzarves marks and eyes off a centering kick. It was knocked away from Selwood in a precarious position. And now it's in the back free kick going the way of the Cats.
Ironically against Buddy. Similarly dubious, but played nevertheless.
Zach Guthrie, the recipient, off to Stewart. He goes long. Jeremy Cameron went for the ride, took the pack down. The ball went out the back. Play on was the call. Kennedy first to his feet. Tom Hawkins, I think it is, who's worse for wear after that, or is it Dangerfield after that fly from Kennedy? Footy's at half back. Franklin's on the other side of the ground. If the Swans can control it, he could be in the frame, but they can't. Blitzarves drawn to a tackle from Heaney. Barely got a handball to escape the situation. It's still in a perilous position as the numbers multiply. And what's the umpire going to do? Call for a ball up instead.
Dangerfield gets himself moving after the heavy blow for Spitwater. Rugged reliability. Tossed up on the outer wing. Blitzarves down to Selwood. Shoots the hand pass out the side to Parfitt and now to Atkins, who can go on a bouncing run. Has a look at the deep targets. Kicks in the Radaglia direction. He brought it to ground. Who's there? Dalhouse off the ground once and twice. Kept it out in front of himself. Isaac Smith sort of opened the way. Dalhouse, though, turned it over. Hayward comes through. He kicks it to Rowbottom. Out the near side on the break is Goulden. Franklin's on the wing. He turns to goal. Goulden with a sense of occasion tried to put it out in front of him and he blundered the kick hopelessly. And he kicked it out of bounds. It was the exact right idea. Franklin was off out the back. Goulden gave it everything he had and he nearly missed his boot in his excitement.
So instead we get a throw in on the wing. Franklin still being watched like a hawk by Henry. Numbers and the footy just outside the 50. And there's a free kick picked out that's going Geelong's way for a ruck infringement. Quickly taken by Blitzer. Slightly sloppy handball. Cleaned up by Isaac Smith. It's a thumping kick. Cameron will get first play. It was pitch perfect. And he's angled the kick, and would you believe it, he's hit the post.
Well, that's what Errol Goulden had in mind. Going with a tour probably just overstretched a bit, but I'm worried for you, Hutto. You've had 4 genuine goes at it and you've missed.
Something I know.
I think Jared's in the box seat at this stage.
Franklin's come to the bench, so all eyes back to the game for a little while. The Swans kick it into the middle. Warner gives it to Goulden, who's on the flow. Unguarded goal. He goes long and bounces it through. If he'd managed that kick previously, Goulden gets the result himself. It's his second, and that was a gorgeous move straight down the ground through the channel, and the lead opens up to 39 points.
Yeah,
16-5 to 8-14.
Sorry, Jared. Brilliant ball movement. And that time Goulden, who just tried to kick the ball too hard the first time. whether you're kicking a torpedo or drop punt, you just cannot over-kick it. And that time he just caressed the ball, but Chad Warner getting plenty of TV time. He's had a big game, a really big game. But, I mean, not all's lost here for the Cats. The accuracy is a disaster. 8-14 to 6-5. The Swans doing it much better in front of the sticks.
So Cameron's kicked 3 behinds, Hawkins has kicked 2 behinds, not a goal between them. And that was the play of the day, I reckon. Visit mildura.com.au.
Buddy could be the first player in AFL history to be cheered for a massage. They finished their work, the physios, and he's ready to go. Not quite yet, though, back into the field of play. Free kick to Stanley, who pokes it forward. Blakey has a look and says, I can get back to that. Hawkins got a tough bounce. Tom McCartan looked back inside, so the handball was always dangerous. Cunningham played for the free and should be penalised holding the ball, but wasn't.
He's wondering how he could miss a handball of 3 metres by 2 metres.
Yeah.
A little bit slippery, I think, the ball.
Yeah, and Cunningham might have hurt himself. Hawkins tried to kick it out of the air. And he's given away the free kick. This will test his restraint, Tommy Hawkins.
I think John Longmire's worked a new tactic. Buddy off the bench will get the goal.
Hickey kicks. A nice lag kick for McDonald. Young Logan McDonald comes up to take the mark.
He's a good mover, this kid, but he's more of a peripheral player at the present time rather than a structural player. Not sure whether he's going to become that. As a high-running Buddy Franklin. Doesn't take a lot of contested marks, but can do it.
Well, Blakey misfires on this rare occasion. Chopped off by Zach Guthrie. Gave it to Duncan. Inside 50, the receiver, Cam Guthrie, heads to goal and misses again. 8-15, 63 to 16-5, 101. There's 10 minutes gone in this opening term. 12 minutes of actual playing time remaining.
The Aussies have got their 9th wicket.
Hello.
It's going to be a photo finish.
I think time's starting to be a problem for Bud.
Lyon removed Afridi. So at the restart with 12 minutes to go in the game, long kick in, got through Swan's hands and pinched by Stanley. Hand pass to Parfitt, pulls his kick in the Stengel direction. He's worked off it, Parker too strong. So Stengel not having the second up performance to match the first.
He's on his feet.
Yes, he is. It's drawn plenty of attention. So Swans build out to the back line. Stevens and Parker, who's kicked on the 45 with high risk. Wicks is onto it. Back to Parker. Stevens is the outlet, but he goes a little wider still. And Hayward has ball in hands. Measures off the kick to Lloyd. Dabs it forward of the play to Stevens. Swans are on the broadcast wing. Sideways as Rowbottom, and just for a moment Rowbottom and Hayward looked at each other as to who was going to get it. Rowbottom came tumbling in and takes the mark, and he bites off the 20-metre pass down the line where, well, it looked like a chop of the arms, Zach Guthrie on Parker, but it went unwhistled and the Cats are trying to get out of half back. Henry with a hand pass to Buse, who runs the gauntlet close to the boundary and has his kick smothered out of play.
Been a lot of good smothering as Buddy comes to the gate again. He wants anybody off the ground.
Well, there were 3 changes and he didn't get back on.
He didn't get on.
Roundly booed, as you can hear. At the SCG, Stanley full-bodied, got the tap. Parker, the hands were sharp. To Heaney, to Hickey, to Parker, to Mills. This has all been close confines. Eventually, though, it's released. Deep kick goes forward. Stewart, an outstanding mark from the Florent entry. And he's going to repel this time for the Cats, who are lagging well behind. 16-5, 101 the Swans, 8-15, 63 the Cats.
The sign's gone up. They want someone off. Buddy's up. He's ready to go.
Stewart to Blitzers. Now players on the other side of the ground that might have missed their moment just for the time being. Cats have kicked it too far. Campbell sneaks in, fires it to McDonald. And he takes the mark. In the forward pocket, nobody's looking at the sign to tell him, oh yeah, Hickey is. So Hickey's going to come off.
Clean into the ruck, Buddy onto the ground, wait for the cheer.
Buddy Franklin back on the ground. Logan McDonald to line up. He's within scoring range. Crowd hushed again. 35 metres out, steers it across the face. And he might have missed everything.
Blakey also back onto the ground, which is good news for Buddy. He is likely to be one that can deliver it on the run.
Just having a look at the fans have all left their seats and they are pushed up against the fence. They're straddling the fence almost, trying to get on the ground. Stewart kicks it long out of the defensive area. Blitzhavs couldn't take the mark, but he links it up with Zach Tui going by. Forward of the play now to Isaac Smith. Without hesitation, released it to Holmes. Fluent move, long shot, 2 shorts. And Paddy McCartan reprises his intercept marking on the last line.
Goes super short. Campbell still on that last line. He just pokes it. No real sense of urgency about the ball movement yet.
Got Warner up the middle, but they're playing a little bit more conservatively to the Swans rather than chopping off in the corridor. They've turned it over a couple of times in recent times.
So the switch is on. Mills from Lloyd to Blakey. Buddy's at centre half forward. The footy is at left half back. Blakey on the chip. Back to Mills again. This is Sydney. It's the team chant at the moment. That's a well-weighted kick for Parker. Franklin makes his move, still 2 kicks ahead. He's calling for it now. The chip comes in from Wicks. He's got 4 to beat. Blitzhar's fumbled it over the boundary line. Crowd wanted deliberate.
Buddy wanted deliberate.
Could only hope.
From his favourite spot too.
8 minutes and change now. What a scene. He goes back to the goal square. Blitzharves gets the tap down to Selwood. The Cats should be able to defend successfully here. Stewart to Guthrie, who chips wide for Close, who takes the mark up against the line and spies Isaac Smith, who sends his hopes down the ground. He's thumped it blindly, although it's going to fall for Stengel, who dropped the chest mark, improvised pretty well to get it to Hawkins. Fancy handball over his head to Stengel, who fumbled it again. And that about sums up the night for the key Cats that was so good last week.
Stevens takes the mark at defensive 50 for the Swans. He caressed the ball up the line. Dangerfield brought it down one-handed on the full stretch. Committed himself. Got bumped into from the side. Close. Tidies it up. Got it to Selwood. Rushed kick inside. Cameron flew. Couldn't complete the mark. Stevens is onto it for the Swans. He goes backward to Lloyd, trying to find the way out. It drifts out of bounds on the full.
Been impressed with Stevens. He's really coming on, playing a more physical game and delivering the ball well.
Close with footy in hand, 65 metres out from goal. With the kick to restart. He pulls it for Hawkins right against the boundary. It was a clever idea. Hawkins one step, hooks it at the goal front, and he's found the target at last. Casual as you like, that's extreme skill. His first. And the Cats are down by 32 points. 9-15-69 to the Swans, 16-5-101.
Whatever, there's 30 seconds to go and he kicks it, and then we have to wait 20 minutes to play out 30 seconds.
It could be a late night, a later night. Close once again, pinpointing a pass. Their kicking efficiency has been well and truly under comp average. It's been poor tonight, the Cats, and they have certainly not reached any great heights this evening.
We long ago passed the unassailable lead for Host Plus, the industry super fund for all Australians.
Boundary updates tonight for Spitwater Rugged Reliability. 7 minutes remaining. Franklin is in the square on 999 goals. Hickey's in the ruck, and so is Reece Stanley. Thump. It goes down. Hickey to tap. Florent tried to bust, but instead it goes the other way off a left-footed kick from Dangerfield. Stunned by the foot of Duncan. Then he got crashed into, which opens up possibilities. Warner. Here comes Buddy. He doubles back. The kick's going his way from Warner. Yes!
Brilliant passage of play. Well done to the kid, Warner. He was just waiting, and Buddy made his move. He pointed back, and then he came forward, and Warner knew the script, and he was mature enough to deliver it.
Security guards ring the SCG on a Friday night. There's Swan supporters. There's Hawthorn fans. Everybody is watching. Buddy Franklin, with the eyes of the football world all around the country on him. And as the greatest showman, he likes it this way. He's 40 metres out. He comes in. The crowd comes in. He's got it. 1,000 goals for Buddy Franklin. Perfectly Franklin. 1,000 goals. He lives out 1,000,000 people's dreams. And this is a sight to behold. Buddy Franklin is lost among thousands of fans who pour onto the SCG. He's in a league of his own in modern football. 1,000 goals.
That is a magnificent sight here at the SCG. They've lit up 1,000 with flames on the outer side, and still they pour onto the fields.
I don't think I've seen a bigger invasion. I've only seen a couple, but they're just, it's almost like the whole crowd is getting out there. Not one person is leaving their position on the fence. They're charging over, and everybody says, well, if they're going, I'm going, and they're still coming.
And in a very modern way, every phone is up, so everyone who made it out within about 50 deep have their phones up just trying to capture a shot of Buddy. And still they come through the fence.
They're coming from everywhere. I'm sure you'll see it on TV, but it's extraordinary to watch it from above because they're still coming. Thousands are still pouring over. It's the most congested I've ever seen the SCG. I mean, there is no way we're going to get underway, as you rightly said. How long is that going to take to clear?
I think they've given up on the idea of trying to move Buddy. Yeah. He's got a teammate or two, but the fans rushed even before he kicked it, so security had no chance of reaching him before the fans did.
He's loving it, and so are the fans. Look at that.
He's up on shoulders, clenched fists. It's an unforgettable moment for the sport and for the ground.
Indeed. I mean, it's such a perfect place for it to happen, the home of footy in Sydney. But he took up the challenge to move clubs. It was a controversial decision. It was a controversial contract. And yet, whilst the premiership hasn't been delivered, Buddy couldn't have delivered any more. And right now he is the main man in sport in Australia. Now, I'm not sure whether Australia are going to win the test over there. It would seem likely. But this is an incredible sight.
So Tony Lockett, Jason Dunstall, Gary Ablett, Gordon Coventry, Doug Wade and Lance Franklin as the immortals of goal kicking. The six to have reached the 1,000 goal milestone.
Australia has done it. They've won, so Buddy just nudged them out. Australia win by 115 runs in the cricket.
So the question is, when do the security guards get in there to start clearing the pack? Because no one's moving just at the present time.
No, and those who got to the scene first, they're not leaving. They're going to capture every moment of it in the throng. Hero plays quite fittingly around the SCG. Really only a rock concert would look like this.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Well, he's a rock star.
He is. It's such a fitting moment.
But ultimately it's time. It's time the security guards got in there.
So as unnatural as this is, he is soaking it up. The glimpses we're getting, he is roaring at the achievement. And just now, the outskirts of this monumental gathering just start to drift towards the stands. His family in the stands to take it all in.
It is time. You can see on Buddy's face.
Yep.
He needs some help now.
He does. I think is he trying to work his way towards a race?
Buddy's wife and child up in the grandstands, they're enjoying every minute of it as well.
Yeah, he's just trying to move literally one small step at a time to probably get off the ground. I think it's the only way it'll disperse.
Yeah. A few of the players have come from the ground now.
And John Longmire's come down to the race, I reckon, to greet him.
Yep.
I think that's where he's going to head to, and his coach is going to be there to share it with him.
Oh, that'll be magnificent. But Buddy has worked in tight places before, but none more tight than this. And he's still moving. He's still going.
Yep.
An emotional moment for Buddy and his wife.
I think to see the showing a bit of concern there.
Jordan Lewis on screen. He's looking a bit emotional as well. Such great mates through a really successful time at Hawthorn. Sadly, Ruffy couldn't be here. He was there last week, but couldn't be here.
It is the most incredible sight. I think he's sort of lost direction on where he's trying to go just through the mass of people, but he is reaching the outskirts over on the broadcast side, which might see him free. And you can see where he's moving, because as he goes, up go the arms and to capture the photo. And a few extra have come out sensing that he's heading towards this wing. So it's drawn more people out as he starts to move around.
Well, right now the guy on the PA is urging people to get off the ground.
Good luck.
Not sure anyone's listening. In fact, I am sure they're not. Everybody wants a piece of Buddy.
Crazy selfies being taken. Ruffling of hair.
It's just like a human wave.
Yeah.
Buddy's sort of controlling it, but then they push him back.
He is handling it in good spirits, because there'd be an element that would be a little bit frightening, I would think.
That's exactly the reason this hasn't got out of hand, because Buddy has enjoyed it and loved it, and now he's being hurried along and he's making his way to the race.
Well wishes everywhere, all touching him. It's as if he was the Pope, Jared. Everyone just wants to touch him.
Yeah, and the closer he gets, the more new fans get there, and then there's a couple of security guys getting close.
He has handled this all on his own, really.
Yeah, he has.
He's nearly there, and they've swarmed him again. I think he's done a brilliant job. He's given people moments to remember, and he seems to have enjoyed it himself. And he's been hoisted up on shoulders. He's on top of the mosh pit, being cheered toward the fence by Sydney fans.
John Longmire's desperately telling him to get down to where he
John
is.
doesn't want him injured. That's what John is thinking. He's worried about his safety.
He's about 15 metres from where he needs to be, and the police are just trying to get to him now to help him complete the final stages of this journey across the SCG. Unforgettable scenes. And he's about to reach his teammates and a bit of sanctuary down in the race. He's done it. His teammates are there to embrace him. What a great scene. What a thing to witness.
Yeah.
And they'll all head down into the rooms and wait for the field to clear to play the last 6 minutes of the game.
Give us a smile, lads. I'll get one for my photo album. There it is. Waitley and Hudson. And Buddy.
Beautiful.
An extraordinary scene. I'm not sure how you compare invasions on a footy field, but you can't get bigger than that.
That's the biggest invasion of all time.
And it might be the last
Clarko
in such a way. Not just 1,000 goals, but even the 100. So we haven't seen it since 2008 when Franklin did it. It's hard to imagine either milestone in the game the way it is at the moment. Maybe things will change in the future.
Well, I think the fact that fast footy would appear as if it's making some semblance of a comeback means that the power forwards are going to kick more goals. But there's not one coach in the land that wants to rely on one player to kick all his goals. And we saw Alistair Clarkson in the crowd. He was one of the first coaches to say, well, I've got to get Buddy up the ground. I can't rely on one man to deliver a flag for me.
His 4 shots tonight have been deluxe.
Yeah, he has
split
hit
the
them
middle.
Straight out of the middle of the club.
How quickly they got onto the ground.
Yeah. That was something to behold. no one's in any hurry to leave the playing surface.
No. There's kick-to-kick going on out there. People all want to be Buddy. Everyone's comparing the vision they've got on their phones. Meanwhile, back in Pakistan,
yes,
Australia have forged their way to a memorable victory.
They have the victory by 138 runs. What happened at the end there? Cummins took the last wicket, Naseem Shah. So Cummins 3 for 23, Nathan Lyon 5 for 83. Mitch Stark and Cam Green each took 1. Getting the drone shot. That's how the fans converged from everywhere. I wonder if Chris Scott and John Longmire found each other, would they shake hands and just call it a day after 16?
I reckon the Mulligans, the Mercy rule should be implemented.
3 up with 2 to play, shake hands, call it a night. It's 17-5, 107, Geelong 9, 15, 69.
This is a first.
So there's an interview taking place down underneath, which we'll turn around for you from Channel 7 to get Buddy's first impressions in his 320th game. Career goal 1,000 for the 35-year-old.
And right now the high performance people will be right under the pump. That bloke's got fatigue, almost the end of the game. And they're going to have to go back out there and probably play a bit of circle work, I reckon. The last thing Cats need is to come up here, get flogged, and then lose two players to a soft tissue injury.
Yep.
And it'll be the same for the Swans.
Is there an equivalent sight in world sport to what we just witnessed? I honestly can't think of it.
No. And we don't see it often, and we won't see it again, but that was the best of the lot of them. And when you think back, only a week ago, without Phil Davis, we may not have seen the rightful celebration for that particular event, because it would have been a bit of a letdown, I reckon, last week.
It belonged here. It belonged with this crowd on this night.
Yep.
In the last quarter of Friday night footy at the ground where Tony Lockett broke the records.
No one's getting off the ground just quietly. We are here until 12 o'clock. This is where the security guards need to do their work.
Yeah, start from the middle, and I'm not quite sure there's really enough of them, but that's okay. That's okay. It's been really something. That there is some obligation on footy fans now to go, hey, we do need to get off. Buddy's left. It's not just a free-for-all to take photos. There's a bit to be finished here.
One of the difficulties at the present time is it's every aisle is jam-packed. There's queues at the gates to get off the ground. Nobody's jumping over the fence to get back in. So it's a leisurely clearance right at this stage. And there'll be so many hundreds of people going back, getting the replay out, just seeing whether they got their face on the TV with Buddy Franklin. There'll be stills and photos of this up in lounge rooms all over the place. And this is the great lament I have, the way the game has allowed these superstars to go the way of the dodo. And that is, they just drag people to the game. They drag neutrals to the game. And if you're trying to preach a gospel in a foreign city, you need some pretty heavy personalities to drag them through. And goals in foreign lands, people understand big marks and big goals. It's a simple formula. And they saw one of the greats do it today.
And not just in foreign lands, in kids' hearts in the heartlands. There is something magical about what we just saw and have witnessed throughout a career. Scoring's the best part of sport.
Absolutely it is, and thank God, I think as a competition we've woken up to that. And whilst people say don't change the rules, bugger that, we need goals. We need Jesselinko's. We need McKenna's. We need Hudson's to talk about some that were prevalent in my mind when I grew up. And then you got Dunstall and Ablett and Lockett and Modra. I mean, Modra was such a crowd puller. And right now we've got Buddy.
And how blessed we are as a sport to have him. Truly remarkable scenes up on the shoulders of fans being carried across the SCG. You could barely believe it.
Yeah, of the, 25 minutes of celebration, there was probably only a 30 or 40 second cumulative time where Buddy looked a little bit concerned. So, as you, I think, rightly pointed out, Hutto, or might have been you, Jared, he handled it absolutely beautifully. He accepted the applause. He accepted the discomfort of being surrounded by so many in an uncomfortable position that could have gone all wrong, but it didn't. There was all joy in everyone's heart, and that was it.
Well, it's still going to be a little while.
Yeah, there's still 10,000 on the ground, and there's a bit of kick happening. Yes, everybody's making the most of their moment out on the SCG on a historic night.
They need an expanding circle. They need to be sort of the security guards ringing and then just pushing out. They used to have that down pat back in the days when post-match.
Yeah, the drone shot's quite extraordinary.
Yes. Just the speed at which people got out there. Yeah, I think those images will carry around the world.
Oh, they will have to, yeah. As you rightly pointed out, Jared, it's unique. There's thousands of sports, but for whatever reason, this has been solely a tradition of our sport.
Do you have any memory of where it might have started? Well, does it date back to when Peter Hudson was kicking his hundreds? From my youth, I can remember invasions when McKenna, particularly Peter McKenna. Yep.
He was invaded a couple of times, and he was the superstar of the day. I mean, he was on Hey Hey It's Saturday, Hot Lips, singing songs. Such a wonderful player and such a beautiful player and a beautiful kick, but the biggest club in the land, and he's the biggest name.
Yeah.
And he kicked 100. So I can remember his invasion. Where it started, I don't know. It probably goes a long way back.
Yep.
But I can't remember that.
So people are starting to find the exits. Let's hear Buddy Franklin on Channel 7 a short time ago once he found the sanctuary of the race.
Tonight, obviously, Lockett, Coventry, Dunstall, Wade, Ablett Senior, and now Franklin. How does that sit with you?
Pretty good. It was actually nice to get it done. Obviously, been playing my mind a little bit. Obviously, kicking the one last week, it was disappointing, but to bounce back tonight and finally get it was good.
Talk us about the kick. Firstly, the moment leading up to it, you turned back, led into the footy, and then the kick went straight as a die.
Made sure I told Chatty Warner at half-time, don't lower your eyes. He was able to do it. So, no, it was a good kick and he was able to finish. And, yeah, it was nice.
Buddy, I can't imagine another athlete experiencing what you just did out there. It's unprecedented, the scenes. I mean, how was that for you?
Surreal. It was an amazing moment. It really was. I think a lot of hard work to get there. Been playing for 18 years, so a lot of hard work to get there, but I wouldn't have been able to get there without having some great teammates around me to provide those assists.
And your family are all here tonight, obviously your wife and your family. And
yeah, it is. Mum, Dad, obviously with COVID the last couple of years, haven't been able to see them as much, so it's just nice to have all my family, obviously my wife, and I think my Tallulah came. I'm not sure about Rocky, whether he made it through, but fingers crossed he stayed for the 4 quarters.
Were you freaked out in there at all, buddy? The Foo Fighters were playing. It was like a rock concert.
Carlton draft in my mouth. Someone. But, as I said, it was just an amazing moment. One I'll cherish forever.
Mate, well done. Congratulations. One thing I've got to ask you. A lot of people say this will never happen again. You started the game in 2005 when it was more one-on-one. Zoning defences have come into the game. Do you think this can happen again?
Fingers crossed it does. It would be nice if it went back to one-on-one, and it's definitely got a lot faster the last couple of years, a bit more free-flowing, so fingers crossed we can get back to some one-on-ones and we can see it again.
Look, buddy, thanks for your time. You're going to be a Hall of Fame legend, richly deserved, and so good,
thanks,
mate.
Richard. Really appreciate it, mate.
Lance Franklin with Matthew Richardson on Channel 7. They're all down inside the Swans rooms. We're getting those shots, and now security have lined up to try what Hutto suggested.
Do the sweep.
Not sure it's going to work.
There's a few getting through the teeth of the comb at the moment, but they're slowly getting the job done. But he doesn't come back on the ground, does he?
I hope he does, because the next thing that will happen is that Buddy chant, which we got a taster of just before half time. That'll be the final piece, I reckon. They'll chant for the next 2 minutes when he comes back on. Not for you?
John Longmire's thinking premierships. He's not. He doesn't want to have a hamstring injury on the back of this. Buddy's worked pretty hard today. So I'd be surprised if he came back on, but John might be more of a romantic than I believe him to be.
Yes, so we're 20 to 11 local time. I wonder, do they have a drop dead time on the lights here, so they have to flick them off at 11 o'clock for the residents?
But I reckon the Uber drivers are really licking their lips at this, because everybody be going home at the one time. It costs $45 for a 7-minute ride. I reckon it could be up to $100 to go to the local pub tonight, the way Uber are travelling.
Reliving all of these moments as the ground is progressively cleared. So Lance Franklin kicks his 1,000th career goal. Australia wins the test match in Lahore and claims the series 1-0.
So at least the police and the security guys have had a strategy. They've all lined up and pushed to the Bradman stand, cleared them, then they're going to do a Yui and sweep back. But there's probably only about, what do you reckon, 200, 300, 400 people left on the ground?
So 3 Swans players obviously couldn't get off this side, so they sought harbour on the other side. They're being brought across the ground back to the safe house.
That's right. Yes, and they're being surrounded by a lot of officials.
Just about.
We've got Hayward, Blakey and Rowbottom. All of whom have had big nights tonight.
Yeah. So just 1 or 2 clowns at the end who are coming to have their moment of glory and run out across the grounds. But the job's almost done.
It's done.
Franklin's 4 goals tonight. Isaac Heaney booted 5 and Hayward 3. That's where it sits for the time being. The Swans have kicked 17. So I don't know whether they get there or not, but they're on track for 20. There was enough time to get to 20 in the natural course of things.
Well, their accuracy's been superb, and a lot of that's to do with where they're taking their shots from. They're getting a lot of goals within a tight circle. They've got a guy who's a very good kick from a distance in Buddy Franklin, who's kicked 4. Heaney's been really good in front of goal. But it's all about Buddy at the moment, but there's 2 other stories. And one is the collective Swans and their youth. It's incredible they've got so many kids at 22 playing football. And there's some big under-25 lists. I think the Gold Coast have got a pretty deep list of under-25s, but it's not as talented as this group. And then there's Geelong, and where are they at? Because they've been well beaten by a really young side at the moment. How much do you take Jared and Hutto out of the inaccuracy of Geelong?
9-15, a little bit, but not a lot. The Swans have comprehensively outplayed them, and they weren't able to absorb the heat that they exerted, but they weren't able to match the skill, frankly, either.
I think that's the point I'm in here. From a talent perspective, Geelong look to be well short of this young group. And that doesn't mean they can't beat them at some stage this year, later this year when it's more important. But, gee, you put 50 to 100 games or 50 to 70 games into this group and it's going to be frightening. Buddy's on the bike. He's getting the legs going. Not sure whether that means he's going to play or not. We've got about 4 dickheads still on the ground, and then we can get rid of it and get underway.
Yeah. 1 or 2 are entitled to be clouded just to get it all to settle.
And that's the beauty of what happened today. None of the likely troublemakers got close enough to Buddy to make it turn into a scene.
Yes, as players are on the bikes, and we're getting a look inside the Geelong rooms where they're all walking around.
Be tough down in Geelong, the Geelong rooms, and for the coaches there. They'd be loving the fact they're seeing history, but they'd much prefer it not to be against them. And the Cats players would be as flat as a hat. Just under 40,000 people here. 36,000. 578. Probably 5 shy of, I reckon, what it deserved, what it could have been.
Maybe some of the weather might have kept some away.
I think you're right, Odo. I mean, the predictions were for a horrible day.
They have, not many have gone, well, half haven't gone back to their seats. They've just filed out and gone straight to the exits. Yep. So... the wisdom, there is actually a question around the wisdom of playing the rest of this game.
Yeah.
I suppose we're wedded to it now, aren't we?
Well, if there's 2 injuries, it'll be well and truly discussed over the next 48 hours. Another replay on 7 of Buddy kicking a goal. He's always been the most beautiful kick. He's probably straightened up a little bit from his original.
He has.
Since he turned up to Sydney, he's just got rid of the arc to a large degree. And he gets through the ball a bit more. And he has kicked some extraordinary goals with that action.
Yeah, so the announcement made that they'll be back on the field shortly. What a night.
Swans have got some merchandise up on the scoreboard already. Yeah, they'll sell a lot more than they would have if he kicked it next week at Marvel.
Yeah, they've got the limited edition, and your promo code is I was there.
And aren't we privileged, as Bruce said with Plugger?
Yeah, the SCG twice, eh?
Well, it's such a great football ground. It's got a long history now, 40-year history. The Swans are celebrating 40 years in Sydney. It never feels as if the job is ever done, and I'm sure the Melbourne Storm feel the same. As successful they are, they're an outlier in an AFL stronghold, and the Swans are an outlier in a rugby league stronghold. But
can he play on for 6 years and challenge Nuts Cavendry and Plugger?
Well, it's one of the greatest moments that this club has ever seen, and this ground has ever seen. And I just wonder one day whether there'll be recognition on one of the grounds stands here for somebody from AFL football, the Sydney Swans.
I do think it's one of the contemplations. So I think on Wednesday night we'll go to the MCG and the Shane Warne stand will be unveiled and the Ponsford stand will be there. I am a bit of a believer that there needs to be an AFL name on the stands at the MCG, given the prevalence of footy at the ground.
Oh,
now.
absolutely.
Ron Barassi's name feels like the right one to me on the members stand. And then this is the Sydney Cricket Ground, and it's still got the wickets in the middle and all. But the Swans have left such a mark here that at some point it won't feel right if that's not acknowledged. If this just looks like a cricket ground when you walk in, then so much of the history will have been overlooked.
Yeah, I've long thought it. I thought Paul Kelly's name was fitting, given he was such a warrior for this club, but Paul sadly didn't play in a premiership, and there's been others after him. Adam Goods was one that his name would be fittingly adorning one of the grandstands here. But I think it's time that those who run the MC or the SCG Trust started to put that on the agenda item for discussion. How to recognise this great game that has produced so many big crowds at this ground, much bigger crowds than any other sport that plays here.
So the players are back out to go through their warm-ups as Geelong have put Jeremy Cameron on ice, and it looks like Mitch Duncan as well. So they're certainly not going to partake in anything that happens from here. And the scoreboard is going through a count from 1 through to 1,000, just pausing on probably the 20 key markers of the Franklin career in a package that's been prepared for tonight. And the rain has arrived.
Yeah, it's a good... Oh, great.
Heavy rain too.
Footy gods were with us the whole way.
Yeah.
Extraordinary. So the votes are in. Is Buddy going to play or not? Play on. Looks like it. He's warming up. Yep. He's working on his next 1,000.
That's right. It's never too soon to start, Jared.
That's right. I remember the first final he played at Colonial Stadium, I think it was called back then. Yeah. And he kicked a goal from about 60 metres on his left on an acute angle, and I think it was against the Swans from memory. And it was the moment I thought to myself, this guy is an extraordinary player. He's been doing that for the last, 15 odd years.
Yeah. Yep, his place in the game is enshrined by the events of tonight. And yes, at the first available moment, he'll be elevated to the Hall of Fame. But there'll be a night 20 years down the track when he becomes a legend and finishes his journey. And the scenes from tonight will be such a centrepiece of that moment. That's how these things last.
Pouring down.
Pouring. Players warming up, trying to muster the energy. It's a 38-point margin. Everybody's cup is full. At least half the crowd is left.
Yeah, they've had their fill.
Yeah.
They're heading to the pubs at Paddington or home.
All the highlights packages have been rounded off. And we're going to play out the final minutes of the game. To what end, no one will ever truly know. The Cats have gone into their typical circle as they would coming out after a break.
Be tough going in there. I mean, Joel Sell will be pumping them up, saying let's not let ourselves down here and let the Swans just run away. Let's see if we can win this next 5 minutes. Means 0, but they don't want to let 4 or 5 goals go through and damage their percentage at the same time.
No.
So the Swans break up. Players are starting to push into their position, so we are shortly back underway.
To play 5 minutes and 55 seconds of footy in the aftermath of unforgettable scenes. But he's coming to the bench. Yes, I think you've won out, Jared.
Well, that doesn't surprise. I think that's the smart play from the horse. They're weary legs. They're old legs now.
Right, the ground has been reset with the padding on the posts, which might have got disrupted by marauding fans. When I say half the crowd left, that's actually an understatement. A good many of the 36,000 have departed. Okay then, 5 minutes and 55 seconds to play. The Swans by plenty. Tossed up in the middle. Stanley rises high, knocks it down to Dangerfield. The Cats come forward first in the Radicalissia direction. Cunningham was brave, dropped the mark in his endeavours, but did disrupt the play. It spills out the way of Close momentarily. Selwood tried to work it on. Cunningham shut it down again. It's going to be a slippery old session with the rain falling. Kick long beyond the defensive 50s, cut off by Stanley. Gives it to Cam Guthrie and Blitzarves. He nurses the kick in the Toohey direction.
Just want to say well done to Cunnington there. He came out and put his body incredibly on the line when he hadn't had any preparation for it.
Toohey into the pocket. He was going for Close. Stengel was shepherding out Cunningham, so he's been the central figure in the restart. It's tough stuff for hard yakka for a new breed of legends.
Yeah, he ran back with a fly to the ball. He hadn't any mental preparation to get his brain right and steal his mind, but he committed nevertheless.
Cunningham. Driving ball out to the wing. Fisted away Blitzarves. Parried back by Stanley. Toohey emerges with the footy and then had company in trouble, but they edge it forward. Left foot kick from Blitzarves. Isaac Smith is the target, and he does well. I'm not sure the defence was at its very best there, as it may have been when the game was hot, but he read it well and he marked it, protecting the drop.
Look, there's a real lesson there for his opponent, young Sydney Swans player, who took the front spot. I think it's Stevens. It may not be, but the kick was really good. Yeah, it is Stevens. And he had no way known he could defend that kick. So he's got to trail him in.
So Isaac Smith after the mark. Strides in. Former teammate of Buddy's. And kicks it behind to the right just to add to the poor kicking from the Cats. Some really gettable goals tonight they've left behind, but as we were discussing the significance of the poor kicking, I don't think anyone could argue that it's cost the Cats the game. 17-5, 107 plays 9-16-70.
They just did the interchange, getting a dry ball out of the fresh bucket.
Yeah. Lloyd with footy in hand. He's going to kick it out the broadcast side and land it beyond the defensive 50. Warner committed himself. He didn't take the mark, though. Zach Guthrie's hand pass went straight to Rowbottom, who measured the kick off to Goulden. Swans have it at left half back. Goulden's got Blakey. Stevens was in the vicinity as well, so they can chip it around or take some territory. Blakey thinking about what to do. He decides to chip it. Yes, it brushed the fingers of Smith on the way past, and so didn't do any favours to Warner as he sprawled to take the mark. It'll be balled up instead.
Right down in front of us. Stanley arrives to wrestle with McLean. He got the tap cleanly down to Holmes, who jammed it on the boot. Hawkins starts behind. McCartan did enough at the front, Tom. And then Stengel came, but there was 3 Swans in the vicinity. And the ball under pressure went over the line and out of bounds. 3 minutes 32 to go. Our boundary updates tonight for Spitwater, rugged reliability. And the clock for Makita. Ruley outdoors with Makita. I think the crowd quite know how to feel. It's all just going through the motions a little bit. Close. Guthrie, Stengel, they're getting further away from goal by hands, and when it slipped through Kolodjasny, then Bewes was under immediate stress, so too Guthrie. Finally, Selwood able to get a kick forward. Swans well positioned, and does either Kennedy or Parker down there. In fact, it might be none of it too. It's McCartan, Tom McCartan, who took the mark, and he wore one for his troubles.
Callum Mills has had 29. Jake Lloyd's had 26. He gets a lot of those just from kick-ins, but hasn't been his finest night, but good numbers.
Kick in the Blakey direction. Dangerfield made the spoil. Rowbottom underneath. Just couldn't quite gather the footy. Neither could McDonald. It's a stack up. Ball still in motion. It spits out the way of Stanley. He distributed the hand pass to Isaac Smith. Gives it off to Toohey. He goes for the unguarded goal, but going back is Rampy to cut it off in its flights right on the line.
Runs just beyond the behind post and heads out towards half-back. Knocked away from McLean. Bewes had to wait an awkward moment or two, but he gathered well. He gave it to Guthrie, and his handball was never going anywhere but being battered back over the line by the Swans. And we're down to 2 minutes 18 now remaining in this one. Our play of the day for visitmildura.com.au. Probably the shot for goal from Buddy Franklin that brought up 1,000, but gee, there's been some beauties. through this game, mainly off the boot of Sydney Swans players. Isaac Smith controlled it well from the throw. Got it to Selwood, who bangs it up in the Hawkins direction. McCartan won the day with the spoil. Stengel tried to take on the World. And the World won, holding the ball.
He's come back to earth, Stengel, tonight. Hasn't been able to find any space to conjure what he did against Essendon. Kick came sideways to Rowbottom, who just dinks it around in the defensive area to Rampy, so that the Swans have no intention of doing anything other than just running the clock down. And the Cats are relatively happy to oblige as well.
Yeah, I think that's
going to go out and punch it away.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of bruise-free footy, I suspect, and just kill the clock. 1:96 seconds to go. A bit of junk time stats right now.
Boundary throw in front of Buddy Franklin, who sits at the interchange gates. At the throw in. McLean got it down. Warner was heavily ridden by Cam Guthrie. Pulled away by Holmes to Selwood, who kicks it for Hawkins. He doubles back, grabs it, gives it to Close. Tight angle, he'll be able to bend it through for goal number 4 for Brad Close, who's got plenty out of tonight.
That was a brilliant goal. Tell you what, the ball control, slippery ball control and layoff of handball from Tom Hawkins was all class. It's the one that created it. He hasn't had a big night, Tom, but he's had a couple of moments, and that was probably his finest of the night. I know he kicked one round the corner, but this was A-grade stuff. Ball handling, A-grade stuff.
Margin is 31 points. That's actually what I was looking for. The clock reads 58 minutes, 15 seconds in this final term. The longest quarter in history. I was hoping someone would keep that running.
A 1 hour quarter. Are we going to get? It's a minute 13. I think we'll get there.
Yeah. Buddy, in 30 years' time, we say, well, when I was playing, there was 58-minute quarters.
He's not at the moment. McLean goes up, tried to take it away. Help from Warner. What a player he is quickly becoming. Sends it out to half forward. Atkins able to read the play and was a step ahead. Took the mark. Aims his kick into the middle of Holmes. Just enough space to wheel onto the right and pinpoint Isaac Smith, but it was just too heavy. Dalehouse against a couple of Swans had to turn tackler to hold things up 35 metres out from goal.
I'll be interested in Monday how John Longmire divvies up the votes, because there's a dozen really good players for Sydney. Some get more possessions than others, but someone like
here's a snap for goal from Tui.
Somebody like Kennedy, he was really important early in the piece. McCartan, super important. He's had 10 possessions, but early in the piece he was equal BOG on at quarter time and hasn't done much wrong. None of the key forwards have dominated for Geelong.
Tui missed. It's a 30-point margin in the final seconds of play. Kick-in was marked by Paddy McCartan, and there's a 50-metre penalty against Paddy Dangerfields, who wasn't standing in the right place. Paddy McCartan's first quarter was something else.
Incredible, wasn't it?
He intercepted everything.
And once again, his kicking is exactly what you want in a fullback in this era. He just pinpoints passes. He turned one over, but, geez, he's been good. For 2 weeks, he's been a revelation.
He kicked it to Kennedy, who came back to Cunningham. And he will deliver it backwards to Paddy McCartan. An hour-long final term is about to come to a close. A historic night at the SCG has seen epic deeds. Lance to soak all of that up. Well, the Swans have confirmed that their time is now. They thumped Geelong by 30 points. Swans led at every change by 11 points at quarter time, by 26 at the half, 33 at three-quarter time and 30 points at the close. The final score, Sydney 17-5, 107, defeat Geelong 10-17-77 in front of 36,578. Heaney kicked 5 for the winners. Franklin booted the perfect 4. Hayward 3, Goulden 2, with singles to McLean, Rowbottom and Mills. For Geelong, Close kicked 4, with singles to Tui, Parfitt, Kolajasny, Duncan, Hawkins and Atkins.
Shake down the thunder from the sky. Whether the odds be great or small, Swans will go in and win overall. While our loyal Swans are marching onwards to victory.
Plenty of admiration from teammates and opponents alike for Buddy Franklin in the aftermath. Chris Scott making his way out to shake the hand of the milestone man. It has been the Swans by 30 points, Gerard Healy, and in the storied history of this ground, this is a night that will long be recalled.
Yeah, there's been a few bigger. There's no question. It's I've never seen a scene like it. Bigger than when Plugger, I think, kicked his. The invasion just seemed to be far bigger, far longer, and so colourful. Both were equally great moments in the sport. But it's just brilliant that it happened here, and it's just brilliant that it adds to the history of this incredible ground. And what a joy it was, and what a privilege it was to be here to see Buddy finally do it. Didn't look like it was going to happen for a period of time, and then he got going. And then he finally got one through, thanks to Chad Warner. I was really pleased to see him give Chad a nice old hug down in the rooms.
Yep. A goal in the first, 2 in the third, and 1 in the last. They were all set shots, and they were just supremely good set shots at that. Have we got the PA? Are we able to listen to Franklin here?
Yeah, thanks. We really do appreciate all the supporters coming out tonight. It's so good to be back at the SCG, and what a turnout. So thanks for coming down, guys.
First time back here since 9 months. Been playing to be back in kind of a crowd of 37,000, but what was it like when they all came madly rushing out to you?
It was a surreal thing. It was just unbelievable. It really was. Special moment and one I'll cherish forever.
When you kicked it, they were running before it left your boot. Was there ever a moment where you were like, oh God, I don't want to miss?
Oh, don't worry, it was going through my mind, that's for sure. But yeah, lucky I kicked it, and yeah, what a moment.
The last time it happened here was 1995. The last time it happened at all, 27 years ago. When will it sink in just what you've done?
Probably when I finish up, but yeah, it was a special moment, one I'll never forget. But for me to achieve this, I wouldn't have been able to do it without my teammates. I've been fortunate enough to play with some unbelievable players over my career, and without those players, I wouldn't be able to kick those goals.
That was going to be my next question. I mean, you're such a team man. You've loved every minute that you've been here at the Swans. There's so many younger players coming through as well too. Exciting times for the Swans, and a great result tonight as well.
Yeah, there really is. We've got so many young kids coming through. We've really drafted well the last couple of years, and yeah, I'm just enjoying it for what it is at the moment, and hopefully we can go all the way.
Hey, buddy, they've waited for you. One more time, each and every one of you. 1,000 goals. Buddy Franklin.
Thanks, guys.
Well done.
The Guard of Honour has been formed for Franklin to leave the field. Geelong on one side and his Swans teammates on the other. And the chant that's coming around the SCG.
There's not many perfect nights in footy, but this has been a perfect night. And well done to Geelong for being part of it. Acknowledging him with the Guard of Honour.
And a handshake from the coach, who was a great goal kicker in his own right. One last moment of applause from Franklin to the fans, and some high fives as he leaves the scene. And the Cats head off in their own directions. So Franklin's moment was picture perfect. Just have a look at Pat Cummins' last wicket to win the series as he ripped out both off and middle stump. So Australia's captain, a historic win in the series. On the angle in, and it ripped both stumps out of the ground. That's emphatic.
That is a fine finish to a test, and hasn't he led so well? Probably stung a little bit by criticism, warranted or not, I'm not sure. It didn't seem warranted to me, but he has ripped them apart in the last.
Yeah, that's a signature moment. We might, before we finish, we might try to play our call of that as well, so that she can savour both moments. Hutto's call of Lance Franklin's 1,000th goal and the SEN call over at the Test in Lahore. Shall we start to ping through some of these post-game categories, because we could be here all night if we don't attend to some business. So the final score, 17-5-107 to Geelong 10-17-77. The MEGT Rookie of the Day, your local apprenticeship experts. There aren't any that technically qualified.
Paddy McCartan for me. 2 games.
Yes,
That's
2
a
games
rookie
for the Swans, yeah. And so tell us, his first quarter was something else.
Well, I saw him 3 weeks ago now in a practice game over in the west of Sydney, and he was just superb. He was playing on a darn good player, tall forward for North Melbourne, and he just... Larky. And he matched him for speed because he used his brain. But what I loved was his intercept marking and his delivery of the football. They're 2 issues. Sydney haven't had that sort of defender for a long, long time. And even if he maintains the average of his first 2 games, he's going to be a star in that position. So what a find that could prove to be.
MEGT, supporting employers and apprentices for more than 40 years. Now, you were on the move for the crucial moment for New Farm Australian through and through. The bang-bang goals from Heaney.
Yes.
He kicked both of them in the final 80 seconds of the second term. So Geelong had pegged it back to 14 points. And the first one came to Franklin, which he was able to spoil, and Heaney roved. And the second one, Geelong were just trying to buy their way out of defence, a turnover, Heaney again. And they were 2 of his 5 goals, and they were the crucial moments to give them a 26-point lead, and really they weren't challenged thereafter.
So Heaney is starting to become a super powerful goal kicker, isn't he?
Yeah.
Last week, significant. His previous game before that was against the Giants down in Tassie, where single-handedly he nearly got him across the line, and what a powerful player he's become. I'm not quite sure he's a midfielder. I think he's more a forward than a mid.
Yep.
I know I've had this argument with Roosie for a long, long time. He thinks he's a mid, but when you're kicking those sort of bags, maybe he's just a mid-forward, as all the great players of the game are now.
Possession-wise, so the player power rankings for Red Energy, owned by Snowy Hydro, a renewable energy leader. Mills had 29, game high. Lloyd had 27, Warner had 25, Selwood 25, and Isaac Smith 23 with the leading Cats. And then it was the Swans, Blakey 22, Parker 22, Stevens 21, Heaney 21 and 5 goals, and Goulden 21, who particularly in the first half was excellent.
He was. Paddy Mills, though, his game today against Dangerfield was quite superb.
Yeah.
I mean, he kept Dangerfield well down and won a lot of ball himself. It was one of his finest games, and he's really growing in that role.
I'm pretty sure he'll feature in the votes when we get there. The Amy Clanger for good. Who covers Clangers? Amy does. So, who was it? Miss Franklin on the one over. He would have got the one over the top.
Goulden. Yeah, went for the torpedo.
It's the torpedo.
It was one of the best clangers I've seen.
Yeah, and then it all set up for a picture-perfect moment over at right half.
A bit like my clanger calling Callum Mills Paddy Mills, but nevertheless.
That's right. We know where you're coming from.
And Cunnington.
Who covers clangers on and off the field? Amy does. The injury report for Victor Sports. Sign up your club, victorsports.com.au. So Blitzhufs was able to be strapped up and play out the game.
He'd have a bit of damage to his rotator cuff. We've all heard about the rotator cuff. Pretty important when you're an AFL footy player, but he would have had a little bit of damage to that. He came back, so that suggests he'll be fine, but it'll be sore.
The play of the day for Mildura Regional Development. Looking for an exciting weekend triple A, visit mildura.com.au. That it was the Goulden goal in the last quarter. They went from the kick in, free kicks, and they went straight through the middle.
Yep.
Like you could have put the pitch mat on, stump to stump, and they didn't deviate. That was the most superb kick-in goal I've seen in a long time. Toughest player for Hard Yakka, legendary gear.
I'm going for Chad Warner.
Yep.
I like the way he goes about it. He could have given it to half a dozen players. But I'm going to get bandwagon. I think he's got a huge upside. And the Swans think he was their best trainer through pre-season.
Hard Yakka for a new breed of legends. The goal of the game for Host Plus, an industry super fund for all Australians. Close on the slide or Parfitt creating is separate to what Buddy did.
Close on the slide for mine.
Yeah.
It was just unusual.
Yeah, it was great.
It was two soccer kicks, and that one, he just had to have so much finesse to get it across the line.
Most improved player for Valvoline. Which oil keeps your business moving? You know, Valvoline. So you picked out Dylan Stevens, Jared.
Yeah, I think Dylan was at the crossroads of staying at this club last year, and I've liked the way he's gone about it so far this season, so he's got a future.
Valvoline, the original engine oil, the unmissable moment for Drinkwise. Choose to Drinkwise. You won't miss a moment if you Drinkwise.
Don't know what that could be.
No, there's some sort of crowd invasion. I'm not quite sure what prompted it, but scenes that will never be forgotten. The votes for AFL Nation's Player of the Year for Whirlpool, your leader in kitchen and laundry appliances.
Well, I'm a bit betwixt and between on this particular one because the game was sort of broken open by three-quarter time, if you like, but it's almost impossible to ignore Heaney. It's impossible to ignore Paddy Mills, otherwise known as Callum.
Yes.
And I've got to get McCartney in there somehow.
Yeah.
So I'll let you do the 3 2s and 1s, but they're the three. And that's an apology to about half a dozen, including Kennedy, across the half-back line.
I think Mills is 3, Heaney's 2, and Paddy McCartan's 1.
Happy with that.
Because Mills did the double-edged job.
Yeah, he did.
He was
Yeah.
the driver on the ground and he shut Dangerfield out.
No, I'm with you there.
Yeah, okay with that? Okay, 3 to Mills, 2 to Heaney, 1 to Paddy McCartan. It means the Swans have started the season 2-0. They're atop the ladder with a percentage of 129.6, Carlton 122.3. For Signet, power your life with a Signet power bank.
One of the greatest things I love about this is the transformation of the Dowdy Swans. That, I mean, it's under the same coach. I know the Roosie sort of invented that sort of style of keeping it off and controlling tempo, etc. But John was very much of that view. But the transformation of the slow, sort of stodgy Swans into this incredible machine is it's just fascinating to watch, and let's hope there's more of it right across the competition, not just here.
Swans by 30. 2 moments to relive. The first, the final wicket in Lahore.
Away from the pavilion end. In here bowling at Naseem Shah. Can he finish the test match? He bowls in! There it is! Patrick Cummins wins the test for Australia. And a precious series win in Pakistan. They do the job by 115 runs. It was 15 days of hard slog, of grinding it out, and they've had their opportunity on the final day, and they have not missed.
Adam Collins' call of the final wicket. And as we sign off from the SCG on an unforgettable night, Jared Healy, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for being here.
Let's play out with Anthony Hudson's call of Buddy Franklin's 1,000th goal.
7 minutes remaining. Franklin is in the square on 999 goals. Hickey's in the ruck, and so is Reece Stanley. Thump. It goes down. Hickey to tap. Florent tried to bust, but instead it goes the other way off a left-footed kick from Dangerfield. Stunned by the foot of Duncan. Then he got crashed into, which opens up possibilities. Warner. Here comes Buddy. He doubles back. The kick's going his way from Warner. Yes! Security guards ring the SCG on a Friday night. There's Swan supporters. There's Hawthorn fans. Everybody is watching. Buddy Franklin, with the eyes of the football world all around the country on him. And as the greatest showman, he likes it this way. He's 40 metres out. He comes in. The crowd comes in. He's got it. 1,000 goals for Buddy Franklin. Perfectly Franklin. 1,000 goals. He lives out 1,000,000 people's dreams. And this is a sight to behold. Buddy Franklin is lost among thousands of fans who pour onto the SCG. He's in a league of his own in modern football. 1,000 goals.